feels good to be out of quarantine.
Hey, Legend! Welcome back to
Legend lives!
Yay!
He's
Hallelujah.
alive!
Yes, I am alive. And whether or not I'm sane for it, I will have to tell in the next coming few days. How's everybody doing?
I'm doing fine, all things considered.
No, doing
Not too
fine.
bad.
All things considered. Oh, sounds like bad news.
It's been a difficult first couple of weeks back.
Oh, really? You want to talk about it, man? Or,
Yes. Yeah, sure. So, right after
Oh,
we
wait.
did the last podcast, I flew out. Before we continue on, we got Muzi and Akari back in the house.
Yes, and
Hello.
welcome to the Legend Hunters podcast. We forgot to do that.
Welcome to the Legend Hunters podcast. We don't have fucking time for introductions.
Yes, we got no fucking...
Screw 'em.
This is the 30th one!
We'll do it
This
live.
is the 33rd episode.
33rd!
Not counting the mini cast and the 2 Christmas casts.
Anyway, I got back home, and as soon as I get back home, it is balls cold.
Well, why did you have them out?
Okay, how cold?
We're talking about minus 15 with wind chill. Okay, that's cold.
That's nothing.
Fuck you!
Leave it to the Alaskans.
That's shorts weather for you, isn't it?
To be
Well,
fair,
not light, but it's light pants. It's not like...
to be fair, Muzi, you don't have balls to freeze. So that's
Again,
you can't
why
do that
did you
against-
have them out in the first place?
Have you ever tried getting your balls past airport security? It's kind of difficult.
So you got groped by the TSA, apparently.
No, but they did give me an issue about my suitcase being too fit to fit as a carry-on. So,
So-
apparently they didn't want to see me pull a magic trick and make the big long case fit into the small compartment.
You know, these things are just dripping with innuendos.
No shit.
God
Anyway,
damn.
Quite a
That's us.
sticky situation he was put in, wouldn't you say?
Don't blow it all over the place.
Yeah. Either way, I did manage to make it back home safely. My aunt helped me settle in. I got my present from her, which included cozy woolen socks.
Oh, I
And
bet those were
never have I felt more satisfied about getting cozy woolen socks than when it is 15 below outside.
See, you have achieved the level of adulthood as to where socks for a present is one
To
of the
be fair-
best things ever.
To be fair,
Fuck yeah.
to be fair, they were woolen socks. So, considering I come from the desert, where we need no such wool,
Where you people
I greatly
make
appreciate
babies.
it. No, we're heat tolerant. We're heat tolerant. We'll drag you down here and we'll feed you some jalapenos. Then we'll see who can handle the heat.
Oh.
That was
We'll feed you. No, we'll feed you habaneros and stick you out in the middle of the 110-degree sun.
Actually, the habaneros
got a
will pull
bucket?
you off.
We'll just flip you over and you'll glaze nicely.
You do not know the pain of searing heat until you walk barefoot on asphalt in 110-degree heat.
I did that
Done
once.
that.
Then that.
I had to
Anyway,
peel my feet off the... No, I had to peel the pieces of my feet that were left on the ground. And I couldn't walk for 2 weeks.
Oh.
I'm not kidding. You don't do that.
Well, I have. But then again, I'm
And that's
psychotic.
why, and that is why the last time you shall ever do that.
I don't walk outside barefoot anymore. Period. We don't do that shit no more.
That and you don't want to accidentally step on a cactus needle.
Cacti are one thing. The stickers are another.
Oh.
Fuck the
Ooh.
stickers.
Anyway, so yeah, as soon as I get back into town, what happens? I get sick. I come down with a case of the sniffles. I think I had like a minor sinus ache or something, but I get a case of the sniffles.
Legend?
Damn it! Okay, I wanted to avoid coming in contact with you guys just so I could avoid giving you the go-away present of a common
Well,
cold.
then-
By the way,
Well,
I
that
almost
didn't
did catch your
work,
cold.
now, did it?
What was that, Leo?
I said, well, that didn't work, now did it?
Well, apparently I couldn't save you. I am sorry for your loss.
You almost
To
got
be
me
fa-
sick.
to be
What
fair,
What do you mean I almost got you sick? The bug's getting everyone, you motherfucker.
Well, I mean, I was starting to come down with the sniffles, but then a few hours later, I was suddenly better.
To be fair, it was probably I got sick from someone on the plane.
Ooh.
That's probably more likely what happened. But
Yeah, so
that's
don't
neither-
blame me for your shit.
Yeah,
That's
actually.
neither here nor there. Anyway, I ended up messing up on my book order, so I had to wait. I had to I had to buy one of the books from school, which actually ended up saving me money because it's a new book, and therefore it would have been. There wasn't a place that was cheaper, but I did have to wait a week to get my constitutional law book. So I was one person away from being called on in class.
Ooh.
So that was a close call there.
All
Sweating
right.
bullets were you?
Knees weak, pockets filled with spaghetti. Let's put it that way. Like, that's how close it was getting to. Oh, God. But, yeah, I've been doing well. Finally got to go ahead and play Dark Souls 2 Skull of the First Sin on PS4 using my roommate's PS4. And I gotta say, the Covenant of Champions is still bullshit.
Oh, we all knew that.
Yeah, and that's why we're never going to do that in our Let's Play.
Well,
Speaking of the Let's Play, I'm just going to go ahead and make a quick announcement right here and now before we continue on, because some people don't wait till the end of the podcast for the information, so I'll just say it right now. The Let's Play will be starting to be posted Monday, Wednesday, Friday, starting on Monday.
yeah, don't forget.
I won't forget.
I will text you to make sure we get it on time.
Yeah, it'll either be
If I
posted.
remember.
They'll be either posted early in the morning or sometime around noon, depending on how long YouTube decides to fuck up.
Okay.
Speaking of Let's Plays,
Oh, well,
Can
Yeah,
I
bro,
continue
something.
my week, and then you all can, and then we can take care of the administrative stuff after we do the weeks?
fine.
Let's at least do it that way. So I go ahead and I managed to play a little bit more Pokemon Platinum, a little bit of Dark Souls 2 Skull of the First Sin. I don't do much in terms of Fallout, although I am very happy to say that my journey of becoming a Toriko chef has improved somewhat. I'm actually able to make a decent stir-fry dish now. I shelled out for some rice wine, and I'm able to actually make a pretty good sweet and sour stir-fry sauce now.
This is in-game or on your actual counter?
Real life, on the counter.
Ooh.
Oh,
my God, that make me
you're one
drool.
step closer to becoming a master chef, young Padawan.
Yes.
May the forks be with you.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Trust your seasonings.
God damn it, Legend.
But yeah, so school has been pretty good. I have 15 hours this year. Wednesdays are fun because I have classes from 9 to 5, and I have 3 of them back to back. So that's rather fun. But on the offhand, I only have 2 classes: Thursdays, and Fridays, and I have a 5-hour gap on my Monday classes.
hallelujah.
So I'm gonna have plenty of time to at least to decompress and to catch up on my readings.
All right.
And to get your legs to stop shaking.
Alrighty then. So with Leo taking care, let's take care of our other 2 Alaskans.
Scratch one off the hit list.
Yes.
Who first?
Well, since you went ahead and cheered up, why don't you go, Akari?
Okay, my week's been on and off. My sleep schedule's been kind of weird, because every time I try to go to sleep, I wake up 2 hours, then go back to sleep, and 2 hours later again, wake up again. But other than that, I've been doing pretty good, catching up on gaming. Yesterday, I just officially beaten Plague of Shadows after almost 7 hours of grueling torture.
AKA
7
Propeller
hours?
Knight.
It took you 7 hours?
That's how long it took me.
To beat
the entire
Propeller
thing.
Knight.
Actually, believe it or not, it took me 1 try to get through Tinker Knight's level.
I can believe it if you know what you're doing and you don't have terrible luck or idiotic tendencies.
Or Let's
Oh,
Play
no.
Curse.
Yeah, like I said,
No, but-
idiotic tendencies.
But
You can make
but-
it through.
okay, the thing is, Propeller Knight's level was no problem. My issue was Propeller Knight himself, who was complete and utter douche nozzle.
Yes! He is the worst!
Salt, salt,
Again,
salt, salt, salt,
I don't
salt,
understand
salt,
what you guys have a problem with him.
What's that?
I don't know how you guys have a problem with him.
Fuck you!
Fuck you with love. From all of us here at the Legend Hunters. Everyone salute with the middle finger raised high. And there it is.
Well, and there was the one time, obviously, I got so mad, I went to slap my fist on my desk, but the problem was my hand slipped and I missed the desk, and I skinned my hand, part of my hand, on top of the corner of the desk. So
This is why we give Zero the cushions, so that he does not injure himself when he rages.
From
Yes.
now on, you have to put a pillow on your desk.
Although, I'll still end up punching my leg.
Well, don't do that.
Well, you know what? Before you would always try to hit me, and then I would block with my watch, and then you injure yourself from hitting the watch.
Yeah, which resulted in us getting the scream pillow, so I didn't decide to smother you.
Oy, oy.
Actually, wait. Next time you're here, I actually will try to smother you with this pillow. See how that works.
Oh my.
don't get kinky there.
Oh, shut up, Akari.
There's a follow-up that I
You
can
never know.
obviously...
He may like it.
There's a follow-up I have to that, but I'm not going to go there because I'm pretty sure I would make you vomit.
Ugh.
Nope. We're glossing over that.
Alrighty.
Okay, what else has been my gaming agenda? Obviously, I went back to Sega Genesis, and I started playing an old favorite video game of mine from my childhood.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Michael Jackson's Moonwalker for Sega Genesis. I can't help it. It's an awesome game.
Alright. If you say so, I've never owned a Sega Genesis in my life, so.
And I'm just going to go say this. I'm a fucking anomaly. I never even heard of Sega or the Genesis or anything about Sega or Sonic for my entire childhood.
Even I heard about Sonic.
Nope, not me.
The kids around me wouldn't shut up about him.
Well, we already knew you were an anomaly. This just makes it, more solidified. Just
Yeah, and I'm willing to bet. I wonder how many Sega fanboys are just pissed off by saying that.
Well, you know who Sonic is now.
Yeah, Sega fanboys are just kind of the really sad apologizers now, who just weep into their Sonic love pillows.
Or crying for another version of the Dreamcast.
You know, once upon a
That
time,
will never come.
I know.
once upon a time, the good games in Sonic lore were the majority.
Now they're the minority. And even then, looking at like Sonic Adventure, not as good as people remember. Nostalgia goggles have blinded people.
hey,
Well,
2 is better.
2 was better.
You mean the one with Shadow?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Yes,
it
it
is.
was.
Yes, it is.
Haven't
Have
played
you
either,
seen
so I
some
can't
of those
say.
cutscenes?
Oh god, they're
Have you
awful.
seen some of those cuts? The cutscenes, dear God, just the cutscenes alone, 2 is better.
They're still
Well, and
ridiculous.
for its day, it was actually, pretty high tech compared to some
Again,
of the games
for
that came
its
out.
day, it has not aged well.
It's still fun to play though.
If you say so.
You know what else doesn't age well, Zero?
What?
Classic Pokemon games.
Oh yeah, there was a lot
Oh,
of crap in those.
the battery dying.
Yeah.
Well, not just that, but I mean just the whole glitchy mess that was that is red, blue, and yellow.
Oh yeah.
Mine still
You know what?
works.
I'm
Mine still
actually
works.
looking forward to going back and playing that when they finally release
Yeah, mine
it.
work too. In fact, my crystal one works as well.
Same here.
Lucky bitch.
Hey now.
And
Hey.
silver and gold both work as well.
The only one that doesn't work is gold, but I'm like, actually, I fixed that one. Never mind, I fixed them
What
both.
ticked me off though is that my gold had all my really good Pokemon on it, and then it white.
Oh.
But yet the game still works. I don't get what happened, but
May have been a hiccup.
yeah.
That reminds
Well, I
me.
mean, that's the limitations of the technology, So I mean, you can
Yeah.
only do so much.
When they moved that to the DS stuff, it's just now like a microchip now.
No,
So,
see, this is why I'm
there's no
glad they also
battery in
have the
those little
Pokemon
things.
Bank.
Yeah, that too.
oh fuck! I just realized I need to repay Pokemon Bank. Shit.
Well, there you go.
There goes
That's what
your
you should-
money.
You
Instead
have
of
eShop credit.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll get to that when it's my turn to talk about my week.
And what else?
Akari, so what else happened, Akari?
What else? I got a couple new PS4 games. First one, I actually got Shovel Knight for the PS4. I'm playing that.
Alright.
And I'm hoping to kick the crap out of Kratos a little bit sooner or later.
Awesome.
Another one is, this, of course, be my favorite franchise of all time. I got the Resident Evil Origins Collection, which has Zero in the remake of 1. And I think the mail card is pulled by, and my Life is Strange limited edition should be out in the mailbox.
Sweet.
That's not...
Along with my loot crate.
Oh, boy.
The fact that you and Moosey get loot crates both confound me and irritate me at the same time.
What is that?
How does it irritate you?
It irritates me
Is there
because I
nothing-
don't
is
have
there
the money
nothing
to
that will
afford loot.
satisfy your-
I don't have the money or the shelf space to get shit from Loot Crate.
You don't have the money for it? Says the man who's pre-ordering everything? Well, that might explain where your money went.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Keep in mind, I still wish Amazon would allow PayPal payments so I could actually use my commission money for frickin' stuff like amiibos and plushies.
That's what eBay's for.
eBay sucks.
I haven't had any problems with eBay.
I don't trust them. I don't
I
trust the
just let
people
my
at
mom do the
eBay.
bidding on there for me because she likes to snipe at the end.
I hate people like that. To be
Do you
honest.
remember that part? Didn't I try? Wasn't I being an ass in Ravenloft when I kept bidding and when we were in Darkrai and I was basically the dude from Storage Wars.
So, yeah, you kept raising the price higher and higher, and then you folded.
And then I dropped it on them like an ass.
Yay! It looks like my loot crate's out for delivery.
Yay.
Yep.
And let's see, I got one more game on my list, and I can't believe this. The cuteness is killing me, man.
What'd you get?
FNAF World.
Oh, God.
It is the most cutesy game I've ever seen in my life. Despite I only have a couple problems with it so far, but the thing is, I'm enjoying it just because it's so much fun.
Well, apparently, and there's the story I forgot to put in the roster. But apparently, Scott Cawthorn says he released it too early.
Yeah, I read that.
He jumped his own jumping of the gun.
Yeah.
Apparently there was some key bugs that were not worked out when he shipped it.
Honestly, I haven't experienced any problems.
Well, we'll find out. I'm willing
Well,
to bet.
apparently it's not necessarily bugs, but apparently its key features are missing.
Yeah, the one thing I noticed is that you can't even keep track of your character's stats.
Yeah, you can't like level ups and stats and all this stuff. And
Yeah.
Jack did a video on it already, so.
Other than that, it's actually pretty fun. I hope he updates it, and that's pretty much my weekend or whatnot.
All right.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's going to update it, so.
He will.
He does.
That's number 2 on the list. Moosey, how's your week been?
How's number 2 on the list? Here, our friends are not a shopping list, dude.
Okay, so what was that groan for, Moosey?
The semester is in full swing,
Welcome to the club.
Yep.
and I'm already wanting to scream.
Well, that
But
might
do
be
you have a
exactly-
mouth?
Comm sucks.
Isn't that the class where you had to do a presentation and you basically shilled us?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Fantastic.
Made it though.
I hope that results in more viewers or at least the spreading of the word.
I think he gave us like a fake grade, but I had to leave class early, so I'll probably find out like Tuesday.
We
But
weren't
he
even worth the
videotapes
real
these
grade.
things.
So?
I look stupid enough in pictures, let
No,
alone
you don't.
videotaped.
No, you look fine, Moosey. You're kidding yourself.
I look like a dork, okay?
You're fine.
Hello, my name is Legend, and I come from a long-running family of dorkness that stretches back into the Middle Ages.
Why am I not surprised that you can link your family tree back that far?
They're bigger dorks than I am. So
Celebrate dorkiness. It is a great
Yeah,
talent, and
Okay,
Big.
okay, so Legend, let me ask you. Would you rather be the grand heir to the longest line of dorks in the world,
I already am.
or would you rather be the progenitor of the dorkiness? Would you rather be the poobah of all dorkiness in your family? Because that's where I stand right now.
My family is... I get most of my dorkiness from them. So I'm predicting that this dorkiness is not something that I have control of. It's hereditary. It's genetic.
Really, you could have fooled me because your dad always seems like the biggest stickler in the mud.
That's when he's out and he needs to be presentable. He's as big a dork as I am.
Could have fooled me.
And he's awesome.
See, that's the thing, is that you know that yours is genetic. The question is, I don't know if mine is.
Mine's gotta be.
I don't know. I think mine is from nurture rather than nature because my mother is completely insane, and my father is a complete douche nozzle.
Oh,
Sarah,
now.
which one?
Excuse me?
Which mother is insane?
I'm sorry, my dad is just giving me the big...
See, that's why we keep our feet out of our mouths.
My dad was giving me a death glare. Love you too, Dad.
You realize he can kick you out at any time,
We got
right?
that on camera.
He can kick you out. He's perfectly within his rights to do so.
Oh, fuck, that would mean I would have to go to my mom's house and their shitty fucking internet. God, no.
So do not taunt the ones who feed you.
Lord.
Do not poke the
He
bear in
doesn't
his
feed me. He feeds himself.
This was horrible.
Aren't you the one who does the cooking?
At my dad's house, no. He eats nothing but Nutrisystems. I'm the one who has to cook for myself and make TV dinners. Except for on Sundays in which we're having steak this weekend.
Oh, don't you
I
tell me
envy you, sir.
Ribeye steaks.
No, don't you dare go into that, you son of a gun.
Grilled ribeye steaks with baked potatoes roasted in the oven.
Medium rare?
Medium rare.
Fuck!
Don't make me come down there.
Sorry,
Please come down here. We want you down here.
I know. I'm hoping.
But you're not down there, so...
Yeah, I know, but still.
it would be
Technically, we could just, go down toward...
Okay. Look.
Because it's closer.
Oh, damn.
Akari and Muzi come down, and you just guys meet me in the middle.
Oh my.
Oh,
Good
night, everybody.
Alright, anyway, anything else going on in your life, Muzi? Or shall we move to legend?
What's up?
It was just horrible.
No.
First, I had to sit through some more diagnostic presentations from other people, which wouldn't have been so bad if one of them would have shut up so I could leave early, which my professor is okay with because I discussed it with him beforehand. Because I have a class that's way up the hill 15 minutes after this one is supposed to end.
Ooh.
And there's a shuttle, but I have to get over there and catch it. And since they wouldn't shut up, I didn't want to interrupt their presentation and get up and leave. I missed the shuttle and had to, almost run up the hill to make it to my class. And it was 15 below with extra wind chill. We're talking tunnel area.
That
And
sucks.
I was, it wouldn't have been so bad if I could just, leisurely walk. Been totally fine. But I had to pretty much run up the hill, and it's a steep hill.
Ooh.
And my feet are sliding around because of the ice. So my legs are killing me by the time I get there because of, the jerks from the ice. And then I sit in class, and I'm tired, and I'm bored, and then there's a quiz. Amazingly, I pulled off an 80.
Congrats. After all that, I would barely have scored maybe a 50 on that thing.
It was an 8-question quiz, and one of them had 3 little answers to it. At least I knew that, but... And then I had maybe about 40 minutes between that and then starting the lab for the class, because I have that on Thursdays.
Ooh.
Didn't understand a dang thing, managed to make it through it. I don't know how I did. But
Through hard work
after
and
that, I
determination.
go outside and I notice that the evening shift for shuttles doesn't start until like almost an hour after I, got out of there. So I had to walk back down the hill, and it was even colder by then. I think it was about -20, and the wind was still there.
Well,
So, welcome to -30.
So I had to walk down that part of the hill just to get to the library to thaw myself out, to walk down the other hill to where the car is.
Oh, man. Don't you wish you had one of those cars that you could remote turn on and turn the heater on?
But no, and have it drive up the hill for me. And so I get home, and I'm just a wreck. I am just, out of it.
And
Hey, at
then,
least you get to come over tomorrow.
Yeah, but they made me cookies, so...
at least your parents show you sympathy.
are you sure you guys don't want to come down here? The high down here is 60 degrees Fahrenheit in winter.
Seriously, I think I'm starting to see buds blooming on my apple tree.
Seriously, you are more than welcome to come down here to steal Zero's steak.
Hey!
I would be there
I
too.
could just, kind of suggest it for dinner, and then,
And coming from a guy who actually works in the meat department anyway.
So, shall we move on to Legends Week?
But I never said what games I was playing.
Oh, I am sorry about that. Continue, Moosey.
Yeah, don't jump gun
We'll
the gun.
see. I've been
Don't gun the jump.
Sorry.
sucked into the phenomenon that is Minecraft.
Oh no. Come back to us, Moosey. Come back.
What
Well,
version
well-
of the game?
Well, I've got it on my Vita, but then I decided to go ahead and get it on my Wii U.
Same here.
Me 3.
I don't have a Wii U anymore.
Aw.
So,
You
Stole
do,
it.
but it's been commandeered. There you go.
no, it has been relinquished to its proper owner.
Proper owner.
She uses it more than I do.
She...
If you had Minecraft and played with us, then there you go.
But I don't. And I don't play Minecraft.
because it would take away what little free time he has.
What's free time?
I would love to know. I
I
would
still
love
have
to.
like 40-something pages of reading just to do for my comm class before Tuesday.
Ooh.
God damn it.
And I haven't touched it yet.
Oh
Get to
boy.
work.
Uh,
That's what Monday's for. I don't have class on Monday.
so, any other games you got?
I picked up Mario and Luigi Paper Jam.
How's that, man?
It's actually pretty fun.
Huh. Color me skeptical.
Well,
I'm
you're
not
always
super
skeptical.
far into it, but
I
the
didn't
mechanics are actually
used
really
to
good.
be about the Mario and Luigi series. I loved them. I loved all 3 Paper Mario games before Sticker Star.
And
I
then
loved all-
sticker stuff.
I loved all the Mario and Luigi games before Dream Team. Now they brought the
This
two
one
together.
seems to feel more like Partners in Time.
I like Partners in Time, but I don't trust the people who made this.
Well, I'll let you know when I get further in.
Okay, yeah, because if I recall right, you just barely started it yesterday, huh?
Yeah, well, Minecraft sucked in my soul. But
It sucks in everybody's souls
Playing-
every year.
Then I've been playing Super Pokemon Mystery Dungeon.
Eee. Enjoying that?
Yeah,
What are you?
you would think that the repetitive nature sometimes of it would get old, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it's weird. It's the dungeon crawling aspect of it's always interesting. What I kind of wish though is that I wish there weren't so many long tunnels.
Yeah.
Oh.
But
fuck.
at least they give you the ability to sprint through said tunnels.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They've had that since the first game.
Yeah, and I always enjoyed running down a dark tunnel only to run into an Onyx right at the other end. Boom!
And
Fuck!
And then I pre-ordered an amiibo. Yes, yeah.
The amiibo. The amiibo.
Roy.
I pre-ordered Roy.
Roy! It's
Him,
good.
Ryu, and Famicom Colored Rob are all coming out the same day.
Oh yeah, then I say Boozy also got me. Well, I gave her the money for it, and she got me an amiibo.
Which one?
Shovel Knight!
Shovel Knight.
I picked it up.
Is here to fight.
I made sure I had just enough trade-in credit so I wouldn't have to pay for it when I, came in and pick it up.
That's
And then I picked up Shovel Knight on the Wii U as well, so.
Alright.
It's such an addicting game.
What was funny was trying to explain to my mom what Shovel Knight was.
Oh, God. Okay, so I would love to hear this. What did you tell her?
Well, it was interesting because I had to try to find at least somewhat semblance of a words that would make sense to someone who has never seen the game. And it was hard because you're like, okay, this is going to sound totally stupid, but you have to say it anyway. So I was like, okay, well, you remember the old, 16-bit, platformer type games? And she's like, yeah, because she used to play Super Nintendo with me, so she at least knows what that looks like.
All right.
And I was like, the graphics are kind of like that, as well as, the music and all that. And then I had to explain to her what Shovel Knight was. He's a knight who uses a shovel for a weapon. She's just looking at me.
You can just show her the opening graphic, and that pretty much says everything about that series.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
just short of
as
the game.
she's giving me this weird look, I go, and yes, and then his partner is Shield Knight. She's like, just looking at me like, what the heck?
You gotta show her the game sometime.
At least show her the opening graphic, because then it starts to make a bit more sense.
Yes.
But without actual graphics in front of you to show someone what it's like, it's hard to explain.
It's called Get Your 3DS and Show Her.
It's called This Is What Communication Class is For.
I failed that class.
So,
No, see.
How do you fail that class?
You still
I
get it?
stopped caring.
I didn't, I still passed mine.
Take it.
I aced mine. I don't know what your guys' problem
I passed mine.
I gave no fucks during my communications class because it was mandatory, and I was like, oh fuck. And I still got an A.
It's the only reason I'm taking it. I have anxiety issues speaking in front of people.
So do I!
Because I'm not standing in front of people.
I had to give a lecture on fencing for that class.
Fencing.
As in the sword fighting.
Ah.
Dodge, parry, thrust.
Yeah, and my heart was going at 1,000,000 miles a minute. I was about ready to collapse at the end.
I live for public speaking.
Well, you want to be
You're
a
right.
lawyer.
Yeah.
Okay. So I need to make this clarification. So there's two types of lawyers: litigation and transactional. Litigation is what you see on TV. Those are the ones that go into courtrooms. There are transactional attorneys. These are the ones who do business deals, who do your taxes, who do wills, who do all the boring
But you
things
still
of
have
law.
to be able to speak in front of groups, even doing that.
Not necessarily. And even then, in instances in which a transactional attorney gets like say there's a dispute over the will, and it does go to court, then they pass it along to the litigation attorneys anyway. So if you're transactional, or if you decide to do transaction work, you unless you decide to change, you never see the courtroom.
Huh.
You're not supposed to see the courtroom. That is what I understand it to be.
And which one are you training to be?
Litigation.
Oh.
So you want to be like the lawyers in Law and Order. You want to be standing in front of the...
Okay. Let's not say that, because those lawyers are majorly criminal, and I'm still leaning towards on the civil side anyway.
Okay,
But
so you're not...
Even then, I mean, yeah, I would be in a courtroom, but it's a lot more boring than you think, and that is like the amount of cases that actually go to a court. It's very, very small number.
Now the question I have for you is this. Sorry, the question I have for you is this: defense or prosecution?
Oh, that's way too far down the line, and like I said, I'm leaning more towards civil, if anything else. So I still might not even be there anyway.
Well, I'm saying if you were going to go that way, which way would you go?
I mean, I don't know, because it's not really, because if you work private, you're always going to be defense.
Okay.
If I work for the government, the question then becomes: are you going to be a prosecutor or a public defender?
Ooh.
And in that case, the question is going to be: I'm leaning towards public defense, actually.
Okay.
All right.
So when you finally do become a lawyer, can I hire you for like any business problems pro bono?
Let's talk about that when we actually get there.
Damn it. All right. Well then, Legend, why don't we talk about your week now?
Well, my weeks. Once upon a time, there was a little boy who got sick. He grew up and became another adult who became sick. He was locked in quarantine to avoid getting other people sick.
He ended up getting everyone
Didn't
else
work.
sick.
No, I didn't get anyone sick. That's the fun part. I didn't get anyone sick. You all got sick on your own.
I didn't get sick. My immune system can fight off anything. That's because I had to deal with an infection for over 3 years.
I'm calling bullshit. But yeah, I was out of it, and because of that, I could not join in with the Legend Hunters' final recordings for our newest Let's Play, which will be coming out Monday.
Yeah.
Flagging that again.
The last episode that Legend was a part of is going to be like either episode 10 or 11.
You make it sound like I stopped coming back. I did come back. I'm talking now.
Yes, you came back, but only after Leo had derped off.
What do you mean derped off? He went back to Iowa. That's not derping off. That's going back to where he was. Really, man. I mean, yeah. I did have. There is going to be a long list of videos that I will simply not be a part of, and that will be Leo and Zero's Super Time to Shine. And when I get back in, I suck because I did not play a single
No
bit.
practice.
No
Yes.
practice.
No practice. I didn't play Dark Souls 2 while I was out of it. A, because I was out of it. My sinus
Because
congestion
you would
was...
suck hard because you were so out of it.
Oh, yeah. I was barely even capable of staying awake for most of the day. It was bad. It was borderline flu. But, again, got over it, and I came back to gaming. And I also came back to several games. Monster Hunter is still a very clear and present game in my gaming circuit. But I'm starting to run into a major problem in that all of the good players are going away. And all of the... I hate to call them shitty. I would prefer to call them just...
Noobish?
Okay. There's
Douche
noobish
nozzles?
as... I'm sorry?
Douche nozzles?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I mean, there's new people who I understand they don't know the nuances of the game. Like, you don't throw a flashbang at something that does not have eyes. It does not work. And I am tempted to start calling them out on that. But the biggest issue I have now is that I'm running into a bunch of people who basically camp out away from the monster and let everyone else do all the work.
Ooh.
So we're out there hunting monsters that would easily rival Dark Souls bosses for their difficulty, with abilities that may or may not be suited or tailored to the monster. It depends on how prepared you are. But regardless, you're going up against these guys. There's no easy way to do it, and these assholes are camping at home. Ooh.
And then as soon as the monster's dead, they immediately come up and steal the loot.
Well, everyone gets their own piece of the pie, but we've earned the pie. I've run into this type of hunter at least 4 or 5 times now.
Have you seen when they try to get their loot, have you tried to just snack them away from the beasts?
I was too busy carving my own bit of the loot in order to do that, so I didn't care what they were doing so long as they participated. But there were several moments. I've had some pretty bad horror stories. Because it's not just like those cowards who stay away from the battle. We also have those douches who walk into a room, take one look at you, and then start spouting off obscenities.
Oh yeah, didn't you see? What you told me this. One guy walked in, looked at everyone, and said, "What up, bitches?"
Well, yeah.
And then looked at you like your cousin and said, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah, to those who are uninitiated of Monster Hunter, there is a major. I know that a lot of people talk about the elitist ideas behind Monster Hunter, but it's kind of built around the idea that if one person loses, then everyone is going to suffer. But at the same time, everyone works extremely well together. So people do get...
should work well together.
Should work well. And believe it or not, we can do some amazing stuff. I've hunted with very good people, and it's awesome. Think of like taking on a Dark Souls type monster and never once letting it get a shot at you. Like, it doesn't even get to attack you.
It's just stun locked.
Mm-hmm. The moment you go in, you whack it, you pin it down, and it starts getting pinned down. And then your buddy jumps on top of it, pins it down again. And then that next buddy steps in, pins it down again. And then your turn, you pin it down again. Constantly locking down the monster. It's fantastic.
Nice.
When you get it right.
When you get it right. But then you get assholes. And this is where this guy comes in. This guy jumps in, sees the low defense of my cousin, and doesn't see the fact that he has a negation to insta-kills on him, and then starts mouthing off. And I go, oh, look, he's a gunner. He's going to have less defense. And I try to explain it to him. And he goes, whatever, bitches. And we go off on the hunt. We go on this normally not so lengthy mission, and we're out there, and we're doing our best, and then when my cousin goes to a favorite sniping spot, high up, and he can get a good shot at the monster wherever he goes, the asshole goes up to him and starts harassing him, whacking him with his weapon, and trying to throw him off of the top of the mountain.
Alrighty then.
It has taken...
What?
It took us 15 minutes in order to get that spot open, and now this guy wants to throw my comrade off of the cliff. He won't take any damage from it, but that's 15 minutes that he took trying to get up there.
Schnozzle.
Yeah, my cousin happened to be in the room with me at the time. I mean, physically right next to me. He showed me this, and I see this asshole trying to launch it, and I go, okay, we're going to go ahead, quit the mission, and we're going to leave him alone with a giant snake trying to eat him. But before then, I did manage to get some justice out of this. I happened to be wielding a weapon at the time that is infamous for being in the hands of many douches online. It's excellent for single player, but it's horrible for multiplayer. The longsword. Because it hits in such a wide swinging arc that it's very easy to catch your friends in the crossfire. I happen to be pretty good at using it though, so I was confident that I could use it without getting in anyone's way. I've gotten very good at hitting exactly what I'm aiming for. When that guy jumped...
know that.
Oh yes. When that guy jumped off the cliff, he landed right next to me, and I got to show him exactly why the longsword is so hated. I proceeded to combo his ass so severely he could not stand up for a single second for a whole 30 seconds.
I'm pretty sure he's not going to be able to stand up for the rest of the week either.
Oh yeah, I was bitch slapping him so hard, he started spamming comments at me. Dude, bitch, what are you doing? Bitch, bitch, bitch. I got at least 5 bitches out of him. And when we got back to the hall after quitting the quest to slay the giant serpent, we look in the hall and he's gone. I actually succeeded in making him rage quit. Sweet justice.
Sweet, sweet, sweet justice.
Oh, yes. And normally I'm not this antagonistic. I don't have a problem with people. I don't even have a problem with their language, so long as they do their job and do it professionally. But this douche was not giving us any breaks, so I wasn't going to give him any. Enough said.
You fuck with me and my family, you get fucked yourself.
Yeah, and I'm going to use the whole fist.
You know what you should have said while you were doing the combo? Get dunked on.
Oh, man. I was sad in that moment. I just realized. And he did get dunked on. He freaking lost it. Other than that, I have actually played something other than Monster Hunter.
Blasphemy.
This is not blasphemy. I got a PS4 for Christmas.
And a huge plasma TV.
I didn't get no plasma TV. I got an HD one, and it's nice, small, conservative. Under $300, which is good.
Very
good.
I mean, compared to that monster that we have sitting in front of us right now,
that we use for our Let's Plays, which is like what, like a 42-inch?
yeah, that's a football TV. That's one that you watch with your buddies. Mine is it's a small, conservative thing that I could afford on a budget.
It's the thing that goes in your TV. It goes in your bedroom if you want to watch cartoons, away from the family.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good small TV. And on the PS4, I have 2 games. Scholar of the First Sin, good for practice, and...
Yay for you.
Yeah. And The Witcher 3. And I had to immediately shut the door when I realized that the very first few moments you have the game, you get a face full of ass.
You get wrecked.
Bow chicka wow wow. And no sex. She's just wandering around in the nude.
Bare ass.
Yeah.
Bare ass. And I'm looking at this and going, wait, I shut the door. And
I'm pretty sure your mom, if she walked in, she saw that. Hi, mijo, what are you doing?
no, she'd probably walk in and be like, stares for a few moments, steps out. And I'd be going, oh God, I'm not going to hear the end of this tonight, am I?
I can't breathe.
It's like if my mom saw me play something like that, she would just walk in by, just look, and just walk on, continue on.
She's like,
She'd just look at you like you're nuts and then be like, whatever.
I play.
And I'd be like,
Violent
where's the remote? Where's the fucking remote?
I can't breathe.
Quick, turn it off.
Like, fuck, change the Cartoon Network. Oh no.
Change the Cartoon Network. I wish I was so lucky. No.
Oh no, crap, it's on Gumball. Crap, change the channel again. Seriously, fuck Gumball.
Oh God! Like accidentally switch it and it goes over to one of the more saucy channels.
Tonight on Cinema.
Oh God! I don't have cable on my TV, thankfully, so I won't get that problem. But yeah, it was a few tense moments, but honestly, aside from all of the shenanigans being involved here, I do have to say the game does have me intrigued. At first, I had a lot of difficulty just getting used to the controls, because, stepping off from one game into another, you have to get used to the fact that the buttons are different.
Mm-hmm.
But...
Very different.
Oh, yeah.
It was funny watching Zero figure out the different controls for Minecraft on the Wii U.
Oh yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm used to playing the PC version, which I had everything set to a certain key and everything was...
It's all nice and simple when it's on a computer, and then it goes to control, and you're like, what the fuck?
What the heck was I thinking?
And when I first played Minecraft, I was wondering, why are all the keys like this? It's so weird and awkward and... And now that I'm playing it on the controller, I'm like, why isn't it like the keyboard? And now I realize I'm talking like the PC Master Race. Fuck! Anyway.
Yeah, so once I got used to The Witcher, did some digging, did my homework, found out how to do this, how to do that, little beginner tips here. My usual, like, what the hell am I doing, FAQ search.
Mm-hmm.
I started to get into it. It was kind of like playing a darker version of Skyrim.
Yeah, do you like the mechanic of 2 different swords to use?
It never really came up. I always found myself, like, either automatically going into the sword that I needed or whatever.
Oh, because in the older games, you had to switch between them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you had, like, a cold steel sword for, like, monsters and, like, a normal iron steel for, like, normal enemies.
Well, in this case, it's just silver for monsters, steel for everything else.
Yeah.
The everything else is not that big of a problem, and you can use the silver sword on everything else, too. So it's not really that big of a deal. The crafting elements are very extensive, and actually really, really forgiving on earlier levels. And finally, just combat. getting into the combat.
Is it Dark Souls-esque or...
It is Devil May Cry speed. Holy shit! I was getting my ass kicked. There was a reason I had to go to the FAQs.
So it was like when you played Bayonetta for the first time.
Kind of, but Bayonetta is more forgiving.
Yeah.
You can get your ass owned so fast on later difficulties. It is not funny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see a bunch of people struggling with the controls and everyone, and that's still one of the games I still need to play. I can see why people say it's the best game of 2015.
Oh yeah.
Just for that.
Story and characters are really interesting. Gerald he's a real gruff kind of guy, but you can play him in either the forgiving manner or as a complete and utter ass.
I need to actually finish watching somebody play that.
I know my roommate has it, so I might delve into it. It's really interesting because it's one of the few low fantasy games that exists. I think one of the few that actually does.
Yeah, I think it's more akin... Even though it does have fantasy elements, it's not really super high tier fantasy.
That's what low fantasy means. It's very nitty gritty, kind of like if you took the fantasy element in Ravenloft is actually supposed to be low fantasy in that there's dwarves and monsters and all that, but it's still kind of realistic and it's all within the realm of believability.
Except for Miko, the oblivious priest that can see all.
Again, there are allocations for certain things.
Yeah, apparently the dark powers looked kindly upon you.
Yeah.
In Witcher, though, if there is one thing that I love above all else, above the story, the characters, and whatnot, it would be the way that they approach different elements in the game. Like, let's say you're going up to... At one point in the game, pretty early on, once you've gone through the tutorials and whatnot, you are sent to go and meet the king. And they go the full 9 yards in preparing this man to go and meet the king. They pick his outfit, they shave him, they clothe him make sure that he is absolutely presentable. You have to know how to bow. You have to know how to do this, do this, do this. They ask you this. And you can choose to ignore all of it and just say, hello, fuck you.
Yeah,
I'm Gerald, what do you need me for? You can go through that. You could choose to be the asshole. I personally chose not to, just so I could see like how far they were willing to go with this. And I was pleasantly surprised.
Oh, really?
It is really cool. And the way that, again, when they approach something, they approach it very seriously and in a very thorough manner. When you go out on these Witcher missions, I felt like I was being a detective here, looking for clues here, here, noting everything I know about the monster, or at least what Gerald knows about the monster. This, and this. One thing leading to another. The discovery of a corpse lying in the well that was responsible for all the hauntings in the area.
Oh,
It
good.
reminded me of a detective game sometimes, and
It is, which is fantastic.
Sounds really cool.
Yeah, and then you
I
get
keep getting tempted to get it just because.
No,
or
not
at least
really.
Borrow my boyfriend's.
I'm not really interested in getting it, but then again, the Witcher series didn't really appeal to me too much. But if it appeals to you, Legend, that's pretty good. And I'm going to stop your rambling right there because we're at almost an hour of us talking how our weeks have been, and we haven't
there's
even...
multiple people here, dude. We've
Yeah.
got more people and more things to say.
But anyway, we should get this going. We should quickly talk about my week, and so we can start talking about the news.
And we can get to the nonsense.
And, well, we've already been through a lot of nonsense.
Well, we still have the nonsense at the end, which is Ravenloft, because we didn't do that last week.
Oh,
God.
shit. That's right. Okay.
So, yeah, like I said, everyone's strapped. It's going to be a long night.
So why don't I go ahead and start and talk about how my weeks have been.
Fire away.
First off, I went and bought a couple of... if you've watched my Twitter, I've actually posted a lot of stuff that I've been getting from my Christmas stuff. Like I got Tales of Symphonia Chronicles. I was playing that for a little bit. And then recently I picked up Tales of Xillia and played that and beat it. It was actually really fun. A lot more fun than Zestiria.
So the good game on the PS3 outshone the bad game on the PS4.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Like, I'm going to go ahead and give my ranking of my best Tales games, my favorite Tales games. Number 1, my all-time favorite, Tales of Grace's F. Because it's a game that made me laugh, I enjoyed the characters, I understood their plights, it was a sympathetic story. Number 2, Tales of Vesperia.
the one that we couldn't play.
Yeah.
The salt is still real from that.
Number 3, it's a three-way tie.
Oh my.
Tales of Xillia, Tales of Symphonia, and Tales of the Abyss are all tied for third place. Because I honestly don't know where to put Tales of Abyss, because I technically haven't played it, but I've seen the full Let's Play of it.
It is awesome.
And I like it, so it's kind of tied in third place between Symphonia and Xillia.
Abyss definitely has the biggest twist out of all of the
I may have
Tales.
squeed a bit when they announced that it was going to be on the 3DS, and I may have pre-ordered it and played it like 3 times already, but...
Zero actually got me Tales of the Abyss for the 3DS, and at first I was like, I'm not sure. It is a Tales game, but I don't know about playing it on a handheld. And I went into it and I was like, holy crap!
Yeah.
When that twist came around.
Yeah, no
Handheld
kidding.
games
That's
were
when the character Luke goes from a douche.
Whoa! Let's just say that major character
Spoiler
development and major spoilers are involved, but it was such a huge twist that I dropped the DS and almost broke it. And
but yet it's so awesome that you can't help but love it.
Oh yeah. I unfortunately could not beat it because Fire Emblem came around.
Yeah.
And I had to go back to that.
All right, and also
But yeah.
for my last place, it's tied between 2 Tales games for my last place. Tales of Zestiria and Tales of Legendia are both tied for last place.
So
Ew,
they're
you
the...
mentioned the horribleness.
Oh, what's what?
You
Uzi?
mentioned one of the horrible ones.
Yeah, Legendia is horrible.
I actually have that.
It is
Never heard
bad.
that
The
one.
main character, he uses his fists to fight.
Which is okay. I know
Ca-
several protagonists who do.
Yeah, because like in Tales of Xillia, the main character Jude, he fights with his fists as well. But the way he fights is more akin to how Lloyd fights.
Yes.
A lot of combos.
Just with his fists.
Just with his fists. A lot of combos, skydiving, jumping down. Really easy to do his Mystic Art. Really easy.
Okay, but that doesn't sound too bad.
Yeah, the problem with him, he's slow in the character, I forget his name, I don't care. He's
Yeah.
slow. And it's not a 3D... This is after Symphonia came out. And Legendia went back to the 2D plane of fighting.
And did not do any favors for it.
Nope.
Ooh.
None whatsoever.
2D combat style, the characters are like, bleh. The story, if I recall right, is just eh.
I'm curious to think what you would think of Tales of Fantasia now.
I've seen some of the older 2D games. I've seen
Well, Tales of Fantasia is the first one.
I've never seen Tales of Fantasia. The other games I've seen are Tales of Destiny and Tales of Eternia. Both are really good 2D combat games. Tales of Destiny involved using magical swords. And Tales of Eternia involved the 2-world dynamic again, which is a common theme I've noticed.
Well,
Yeah, it
look
is.
at how well it worked for Symphonia.
Let's see. Tales of Eternia, Tales of Symphonia. Technically, Tales of Vesperia with the whole shell over the world kind of thing. And they also had it in Tales of Xillia. Separated worlds.
Alright.
But yeah, other than that, I was playing a bit of Fallout 4.
Alright.
And had to redo a build because my first build I decided to put stats in some really stupid places.
Wait, is this the second reboot that you've done, or you're still talking about your first one?
My first reboot.
Oh, okay.
Because my first build, I just basically put 4 stats in everything. Not a smart move.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Fallout it doesn't work as well if you try and be a jack of all trades. You gotta specialize.
Yeah, so I immediately decided to restart the game and do a female assassin. So I have a whole bunch in agility and intelligence. I'm going for more of a melee style, and the ability Blitz allows me to be far away from the opponent, and then I use the VAT system, and then it immediately lets me zoom in on them and start stabbing at them with a sneak attack.
I am suddenly reminded of what I always said in Plague Knight.
What?
Once you go VAT, you never go back.
Very true.
And then I decided to look around for some other builds, and I saw a sharpshooter sniper build, and I'm like, oh, fuck yes. I want to play that.
You want to emulate the waffles.
Okay.
I haven't forgotten.
Bring up waffles.
Okay.
Lucy, why don't you explain this one?
Ninja Sniper.
Okay. Explain the
Okay, explain to me waffles, because I did not get that joke.
There was this sniper one time when we were all playing Splatoon together, and his name literally was Waffles. And he was an asshole. And so now, anytime there's a sniper, we go, well, there's a Waffles.
Yep.
And actually, Akari encountered Waffles a few days ago.
Yes, I did.
We lost it.
And that, surprisingly, he wasn't much of an asshole.
I'm thinking
'Cause
it might be a bot, guys.
No,
No.
it was an actual person.
You sure? Because it sounds like he's 360 no-scoping you guys.
Oh, God.
No,
Get the
Bot wouldn't
Doritos!
be as intuitive as this was.
Oh, man.
Okay, other than that, I'm now back in school.
Yay!
Final semester of Masters College.
Good.
I am taking plant virology. Doesn't look too bad. I am taking a type of ecology of microorganisms. Doesn't look too bad. I am going to be taking a seminar on the human genomics. Doesn't sound too bad. It's only one class. My problem is going to be my sustainable crop production class.
Ugh.
Papers out the wazoo.
Yeah, that reminds me of everything that I do in every single year that I go into college, because I'm a writing major.
Not to mention the fact that I'm also taking one research credit in which I'm going to have to write a 10-page paper, single-spaced.
10 pages, huh?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully you'll have a lot to write about.
Fuck.
10 pages isn't all that bad, considering all the crazy things that I've had to write. But, you know, it is still a chunky piece of work, I will give you that.
Yeah, which means I need to immediately start coming up with topic ideas and giving them to my mentor. Like, literally, like this weekend, I'm going to have to come up with ideas.
Yep.
Not to mention the fact that this is the year that I'm going to have a written exam and an oral exam in order for me to graduate. So what I need to do is, along with my mentor, find 2 other professors who will be my judge, jury, and executioner.
Well, hopefully not executioner. And yeah, that does remind me. You cut me up before I talk about my school days.
Oh, I am terribly...
Because I'm also back in school. I'm not a NEET this time, damn it. And yes, I only have 2 courses, but I'm spreading out my courses throughout the year so that they don't all pile together. And that turned out to be a good move because I'm going through my senior seminar this time around.
Yay.
And yeah, I'm going to be going into the field and seeing what I need to do. And on top of that, I'm also undergoing the work of the devil.
Oh.
Yeah, I have to draw a pentagram on every single one of my papers, and that will translate everything on that paper from Spanish into English.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, dear God.
I'm taking translation courses. Buenas tardes, amigos. Porque este es... es el trabajo del diablo.
In other words, you forfeit any life you think you had.
Sí. En todas partes.
I'm reminded of the part where Dende is talking to Nail and saying, "I think these are the humans who are sent to help us. Although, if that's the case, we are
We're doomed."
boned."
Yeah.
And then Colin says, "You have a wonderful language."
Este maldito color. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to be translating a ton of crap this semester, and if I suddenly break out into random Spanish for no goddamn reason, esa es razón.
Then Zero can
God.
I think we're turning the podcast into Telemundo.
Oh, fuck no.
No, it
Screw
isn't.
Telemundo.
It's not Telemundo until we have a lady jumping around for no apparent reason.
Or some sort of evil twin appearing.
Yeah.
And suddenly
See,
you're dating my
Muzzy knows,
sister.
Muzzy knows.
Oh
My
god.
mom used to watch soap operas. Finally
No,
taught me
you don't know the insanity of Spanish soap operas.
No,
I think I sent you when I was in San Diego with my cousins.
yeah, it gets crazy. It gets crazy.
You're my twin sister, and you're dating my evil twin brother.
God.
I'm willing to bet that's a plot line in one.
It was. It fucking was. Shall we move on to something more tasteful?
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
Shall we do the nonsense now?
Let's do the. We've been doing the nonsense. Let's go.
All right,
No, the official nonsense.
let's actually get into what I have on the docket this week. Okay, Pokemon news. We actually have some extensive Pokemon news, so let's start off with that.
Oh boy.
Woohoo!
All right, so first off, we were all raging last podcast because Japan was getting new 2DSs in the style of all the Pokemon games, including Green, which never came out in the States.
They must have heard us because they responded.
Yeah, so we are getting new 3DS bundles that are going to come pre-downloaded with the game of your choice with red and blue faceplates. I
And
have
yellow.
not
No yellows.
No yellows?
No
no
yellows.
yellows. I have not, even though that yellow was a game, they don't have a faceplate for it.
Oh,
Crap.
That would've
shot
been
through
so
the
awesome.
heart.
They need to make a special pack that you can get that just has the faceplates. That
I
would
would
be
have met and a code inside with Pokemon Yellow.
for those who already have a new 3DS.
I have a
Well,
feeling they're gonna do this already. I think that when they're on the road.
I would hope so, but a little interesting note came out in regards to the Gen 1 imports. Apparently, Nintendo is doing a decision to where the save state features of the Virtual Console are going to be disabled for Red, Blue, and Yellow when they re-release it in next month.
Yeah,
Really?
on the offset shoot, that actually makes sense. I mean, because you can save your game whenever in the game anyway.
Well, apparently the main reason they're citing for is because of duplication glitches.
Oh yeah.
Which makes a lot of sense if any of you remember some of the bullshit you could pull off in the classic games.
You
when
mean like multiplying items?
yeah,
Well,
but
multiplying items, multiplying Pokemon. The question is missing those still exist?
Probably.
Oh, I hope so.
I really hope so. There's so much lore behind that broken piece of data.
yeah, we did a whole creepypasta about it.
And we never shut up about it either.
Well, it's because it's the most fucking popular thing on our channel. I am still flabbergasted by that because I literally put 2 weeks worth of effort into it.
Well, we put a lot
I
of
still
heart
listen
into
to
it,
it.
too.
Yeah. Literally, I put more effort into making our Let's Play videos than I did that thing. Fucking hell.
Well,
I think the thing is because I actually decided to put pictures that I hand drew for it.
Well,
exactly.
you know, there's sayings like certain artists, they put out some of their best works were rush jobs. Like literally, I'm trying to remember what song it is from Guns N' Roses. "Sweet Child of Mine" was just literally Slash was just
Doing-
picking
Moving around.
Yeah, he was just doing a
scooping
guitar riff.
around, and then Axel says, "Okay, we're putting lyrics to that," and they write it up in like a span of 2 hours or some shit.
Yeah,
like that.
and the whole part where they're saying, "Where do we go now? Where do we go now?" They are literally saying that because they have no idea what to go on for that song.
And same thing with there's another Metallica song that came the same way. It was with Nothing Else Matters. James Hetfield is just messing on acoustic guitar, just talking to somebody. He's like, wait a minute, I gotta go. And he hangs up and starts coming up with the rest of the song from there. And that's pretty much how the whole thing starts out. Yeah, so yeah, best just comes by accident.
Yeah. So again, we still have questions about how much are they patching in, if at all. Are they going to make changes so that focus energy actually works? Are we going to have still broken bullshit counters? Still a lot of those questions need to be answered.
Will Bind be broken as all hell?
Will Brian be broken as fuck?
Yeah, I remember when Brock was a giant pain in the ass.
Yeah, and we don't have Metal Claw in this generation, so fuck if you decide to choose Charmander.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to have to get a Nidoran in the grass.
And grind to level
Nidoran,
16.
Mankey. I do remember either of those were options.
We've been so spoiled with the new generation.
You know what? I
I
didn't
know.
even realize I could use Nidoran back when I think I've said this story before, but back in Pokemon Yellow, I didn't know that Nidoran could do that. So what I ended up doing was I ended up grinding Pikachu to level 20 to learn Slam.
Well, you know, I had like a level 57 Pidgeot for the sole purpose of screwing Brock over, and I literally, like, for 2 weeks just grinded in Viridian Forest. So, I mean, like, yeah, that's a thing.
I actually just went in with a Nidoran, and I beat Misty with that Nidoran, which is actually, I beat Misty with a Nidoqueen, which should have been suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should
Because
have
the
been.
part ground type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. But I never beat the original red, blue, or yellow.
Neither have I, because this is a little bit of a Pokemon nostalgia story, but I got up to Lance. He had wiped out all of my party members except for a Venonat that I had in my party.
Oh god, the Venonat thing.
Yeah, the Venonat story.
Yeah, I don't know how I did this, but I kept using healing items and kept that Venonat alive until his final Dragonite was stuck using Struggle. So was my Venonat.
And then you beat him, and then you saw blue.
Yep, and I was like, I don't want to play this game anymore. I'm like, no, fuck you. Fuck this noise. Fuck it. Turn the game off. Took the
God.
cartridge out. Threw it across the
I
wall.
Oh, poor cartridge.
Yeah.
You know those would
Okay.
go for hundreds of dollars now, right?
I lost those when I moved out of my old house.
Oh.
The only one I still had was Crystal, and I used that and when I would play on Pokemon Stadium. I would use the whole game emulator thing to play
Yeah.
it. But for some reason, I don't have that game anymore. And even
Which
if I
one?
did, I don't even know if the battery would work.
Yeah, Crystal still works. My brother has my Crystal version, and that still works.
And I happen to have a Pokemon Yellow on with me right now. I don't. It's a lender. It's a loaner from Silver Jolteon, and I have it. I still haven't beaten it. But yeah, it's there and it's still working.
So yeah, that's a thing. Next thing on the list,
Pokken
Pokken Fighter updates. We got 3 new main fighters in Pikachu Classic, Mewtwo Classic, and Chandelure of all options.
Fuck yes, Chandelure.
Didn't we also get Braixen as well?
We got Braixen as a regular fighter too. No.
Either as a fighter or as a support. I forget.
Well, I'm trying to remember because I know there's a lot more supports actually.
Yeah, like I think Magikarp's a support as well.
Yeah, Magikarp got a support role. It's
Oh
going
my god.
It's going to be the Dan option, where you pick it just so to be useless.
Poor
Yeah, watch him
Magikarp.
flop around going, Garp, Garp, Garp.
You know what? Magikarp gets too much shit. Everyone should love Magikarp. Magikarp is the biggest trooper in the history of the Pokemon series. Because from day one, we all knew it sucked. We knew it sucked. We bought the stupid little fish from that merchant, and we knew it sucked the moment we sent it out and did nothing.
For 500 Poké Dollars.
For 500 Poké-Dollars. But those were 500 Poké-Dollars I spent well, for I raised
Oh, we
that
stuck
Magikarp
it
into
out.
a Gyarados, and I swept the game with it!
Yeah.
But anyway, yes. Magikarp is the Dan Hibiki of the Pokemon world, but unlike Dan Hibiki, Magikarp actually gets to win.
Yes.
Yeah, only after he evolves, but
Yeah, only after he evolves into the greatest goddamn dragonfish in the world.
which can now mega evolve and become even scarier.
Yes!
And apparently fatter.
Hey, beware the chunky fish. Those hit the hardest.
Yeah.
I guess that brings a whole new definition of fatty tuna.
Oh, yeah.
But
No,
it's
I
a
agree
carp.
with that.
Fatty
You know,
carp.
because sushi, dragon rolls.
Oh god.
God. But
I
yeah.
am hunting on meta levels of fun here, guys.
God damn it.
Anyway,
I am looking forward to
last-
seeing
last-
how Chandelure plays. Just gonna say that.
Yeah.
The last bit of news, and this you might find interesting for a potential Let's Watch. The Pokemon movies got digitally remastered and re-released on iTunes.
Yeah, all of
Oh,
them.
really?
Well, not
yeah,
all
it
of them. There's specific numbers. It's Pokemon the first movie, the movie 2000, 3 the movie, Forever, Rise of Darkrai, Giratina the Sky Warrior, Arceus and the Jewel of Life, Zoroark, Black and White, Kyurem, Genesect, and Hoopa. So there's a couple of Gen 3 movies that got skipped.
Like Heroes and Jirachi.
Yeah, mainly those. Anything that had to do with May.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Because apparently the subbing company does not like May Burke.
What?
Why? She's probably one of the more... okay. Besides Gen 6 says female lead, which ones were actually good back in the day?
Iris?
Misty?
Iris is one. Misty is the original one.
Yeah. Misty.
Honestly, the weakest link I think we can all universally agree is Dawn.
Yes.
Yeah, no need to worry. I have every reason to worry now. Just because you said that.
Yeah.
I believe there's a reason why Dawn is the Ditz picture that we have on stock.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I think that's another reason why we have the Ash facepalm stock picture.
Even Ash was facepalming to that?
Well,
it's a Gen 4 picture of Ash facepalming, so something had to have happened.
yeah, and there's an 80% probability that it was Dawn related.
I feel lightheaded again for some reason.
I think we broke him.
No, I'm still here.
You might need Zero's pillow.
No, I don't need a pillow.
He needs pictures of corgi butts.
That doesn't work on me.
That does.
It works on everyone.
And also, we have absolutely no goddamn context for our viewers in this regard.
Well, okay, so the deal is that whenever we hang out on across computers and Zero gets stressed, Moosey de-stresses him by sending him pictures of corgi butts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because corgi puppy butts are adorable.
Yes.
And then I get on it too, and then Zero quivers into jelly.
And he squeezed into his pillow.
He's doing that right now.
Just thinking about it, goddamn.
Okay. Let's get away from some Pokemon content and let's actually talk about something that will make you use the screen pillow for its intended purpose.
Douchebag of the week. Sarkeesian goes Nicki Minaj? What?
Okay,
Oh my
so
God.
obviously, misleading title is misleading, but let me go ahead and let me explain what it actually is. Is that Anita Sarkeesian is starting season 2 of her Tropes versus Women series.
Oh, God.
And what is she? What topic does she decide to enlighten us on?
Women's asses?
Asses. More specifically, strategic butt coverings.
Really?
If that isn't the most clickbaity title aside from my own, I have yet to see one.
I just got through talking about how The Witcher 3 opens with a vision of...
Ass to the face.
Yeah, pretty much. It starts with the ass and pans up the naked back.
But the question is it a man or a woman's butt?
It is a woman.
It's a woman's butt. What do you? It's The Witcher. What do you think the answer to that question is?
Well, you see plenty of Gerald's naked ass in that as well.
You also have to remember who we're talking about and why they would have an issue.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
So-
Miss Crazy Anita Sarkeesian psycho bitch can go burn in hell.
Anyway, Anita Sarkeesian. I don't need to
Her
say
and the
anymore.
rest of this Tumblr social justice warrior fuck nuts.
No,
Anyway,
they sent her back. That's why she's still here.
Answer.
okay, that's good. Not even Alaska would pay to keep her around with you guys, huh? Anyway, let's move on to something a little bit more humorous. Internet mistakenly freaks out over Obama's amiibos.
What?
Okay, so recall that the State of the Union was recently held in the United States,
Yes.
Watched it.
and that after the State of the Union, one of the reporters got a one-on-one interview with Barack Obama,
Alright.
and they happened to take the interview in one of the rooms in which he has a toy collection off in one of the shelves.
And it was all amiibos.
Well, That's what people thought. They saw figurines of Nintendo characters. So what is the first thought that everyone came to? Amiibos.
Naturally.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the case, actually.
Oh.
In fact, it's just generic. It's one of the various Nintendo figurine collections.
All right.
Still.
But everyone was freaking out because the thought that Barack Obama had amiibos, and that should anything ever happen to him, God forbid, that those amiibos would be worth a fortune.
Really? That's what people were thinking?
Well, how
Well,
much would Obama's amiibo be
the
worth?
idea that the president of the United States is also in the amiibo collecting craze. People were thinking, "Oh, good, he can pass executive actions to go ahead and get amiibos shipped on time."
No.
Okay.
Yeah,
If he
right.
actually did
Republicans
that'd be
wouldn't let
awesome.
that pass.
And I wouldn't put it
was
past
more-
Obama.
that
He
was
couldn't
more
run
what
even a
the
used
general
car lot.
consensus was, are we going to get
Ooh,
executive
shots fired.
actions to get proper amiibo
How many shots
production?
have I been taken over the years?
Fair enough, fair enough.
So yeah.
So no, that actually wasn't the case, and it was just a big hoopla.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big hoopla?
Big props to him.
No, Hoopa's not in this.
I'm sorry, that was a horrible pun. You may smack me for that.
No,
No.
we've made worse.
All right.
No, I think he's just proud.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and jumping from politics into more politics.
Oh joy! Please
Have-
continue.
So you know who would have made an amazing front runner for president?
Who?
Oh.
Duke Nukem.
No, I doubt he would.
Well, you know what you would have gotten?
What?
A commercial done by the voice of Duke Nukem.
Oh.
For Donald Trump.
Well, no. The email does not explicitly say Donald Trump. It just says for the Republican Party, and that's where there was debate amongst the story. So John St. John, the voice of Duke Nukem, put on Twitter a while back stating that he had turned down a job opportunity to do a voiceover for the GOP as the character Duke Nukem.
As the character Duke Nukem.
And he
Oh,
said,
God.
"You know what? This is too political for me. I don't feel comfortable doing this. I have to turn you guys down."
Fair enough.
And but it brings to the question, what could have been? What could have been Duke Nukem essentially voicing himself, or not voicing, but marketing for himself his own presidency from his own video game? Because remember, even though he wasn't president, he was pretty much a badass.
Oh, God.
Oh man.
Oh.
Yeah, but if I recall right, he was supposedly being hired to be the voice to sponsor Donald Trump's ad campaigns.
Well, that was where there was some confusion, and apparently, what is being said is that it would either have been Trump or Cruz, but it would have been whoever got the actual nomination. This would have been closer towards the actual election that they do this. So that he would have been like the clincher.
I see. But still, picturing Duke Nukem trying to run for president.
That's an amazing thought.
That's the thing. I mean, like, you could see that, and you could
Instead
see
of
how.
kissing babies, he'd be blowing them up. But anyway.
Rip off your head and shit down your neck if you don't vote for me in 2016.
And honestly,
he'd
and he'd get more votes than either Republican Party member combined.
Look, can we just say that it's a better nomination than Sarah Palin and leave it at that?
Oh, God, yes.
I'd say it would be a better pick than Obama.
No, can we move to Canada now?
Actually, we missed something because
I know. Now we're skipping to sort of because there's a block of court cases here that I kind of need to go over. So let me go ahead and give you guys the headlines, and we'll go from there.
All right.
Microsoft faces Supreme Court date over Xbox 360 disc scratching shenanigans.
So they're now getting around to that? Well, someone's a little late to the party.
Yeah.
Decade later.
I mean, you gotta understand, the Supreme Court, it takes a while for anything to get up to the Supreme Court. First, you gotta file a writ of certiorari, which is the motion to say, will you look at our case? And then you actually have to wait for them to get around to your case, because the Supreme Court only meets once a year, or does so once a year. So,
But when was this first brought up as an issue?
I mean, it's been an issue since the 360's been around. I mean,
Yeah, because I'm going to go on a tangent for a little bit. I have a story about a disc scratching problem that I had with my 360. I was playing Final Fantasy 13. Already, great start.
Oh, yes.
I had decided to, I need to move my console a little bit because Dad wanted me to move it so we could actually do something with the TV. I simply I barely pick it up and tilt it ever so slightly as it was still running. All of a sudden, I opened the disc drawer and the entire disc was mangled and scratched beyond belief.
Are you sure that wasn't the console looking into the future, realizing that Final Fantasy 13 would get 2 more sequels, and just going full Bardock, embrace into the abyss thing?
It was.
I actually should have taken that as a warning, because what I immediately did after that, I bought another Final Fantasy 13 game.
To be fair,
In
the entirety of the game, Lightning was one of the few good characters.
True, and keep in mind, I hadn't gotten far enough for the game to start actually sucking.
The rest of the game does suck, yes. I couldn't stand it. I was in there for about 30 minutes. 30 minutes was all I played of the game. First few battles. Okay, click, click, click. I don't feel like I have a hand in this. What am I doing? What's going on? What's doing this? What's doing that? What is this going on? What's all that shit? What the hell is this? Where am I? What is this? Oh, are we in the past now? Is this a flashback? What the hell's going on? This flashback is taking 10 minutes. What is this madness? Turns off the game.
My thoughts exactly on that piece of fucking crap.
So to answer your question earlier, Legend, this apparently went as far back as 2008.
7 years?
8 years.
7 years? 8 years now.
So they got 55,000 complaints about this since 2008.
55,000, and only now are they addressing it.
Well, here's the best part, is that in 2012, a federal judge ruled that there weren't enough complaints to merit a class action suit. And they got overturned just last year.
You don't know us very well, do you?
So now you can see, and the lawsuit was actually brought 9 years ago. So yeah, 9 years ago. So even further back, so 2007.
God damn it.
So
Jesus
yeah,
H.
this is actually a big thing. So depending on how things come around this May, this June, a lot of people are going to get checks in the mail from Microsoft.
Oh my word.
I kind of wish I knew about this lawsuit when I destroyed Final Fantasy 13.
I'm pretty sure as long as you still have if you have the paperwork that shows a proof of purchase, I'm pretty sure you can still cash in on it if they win.
I'm looking for my game to see if I still have it.
Well, he does that.
Because that's the most important part. They have to win in order for there to be any sort of payment.
Well, just in case, keep your receipts on hand.
Yeah, that's why you keep your receipts on hand.
Alright, so Microsoft screwed up. Did Sony screw up?
Yeah, Sony screwed up also, and it was for a stupid reason.
Oh, please, do enlighten us, dear Leo.
Sony attempts to trademark Let's Play is refused by the U.S. Patent Board.
You can't trademark.
Because that's idiotic.
Well, here's the argument that they made allegedly. The argument was that they wanted to patent the trademark Let's Play because there's a company called LET_Z Play of America, which is a Georgia-based company that does video game events across the state.
Oh, really?
Yes, and that's the reason they wanted to get their grubby little hands on it.
Okay, so how is this overturned? Besides
well,
common sense.
Well, this isn't a court issue. This is a governmental body issue. So what they did is that Sony filed a trademark saying we want to own the exclusive rights to this, kind of like how King wanted to get exclusive copyrights to Saga.
As well as the word candy.
And the patent often looked at it and said, "You're crazy. No."
I
They
mean,
looked at him
how
like,
many?
"No."
How many were? Okay, Let's Play is not just. It's not just a random thing that you can trademark. It is like the word candy. How many people online use the term for their gaming
Titles. Just like we don't, like, for us, the Legend Hunters, we don't use Let's Play. We use Legend Hunters Play. So it wouldn't affect us.
Yeah, but
Well-
all the same, consider the sheer volume of people who have. You know, I should actually be happy about this.
Really?
Yeah, think about it. We now have a brand new genre of a very, very recent new genre of entertainment. Let's Plays is now an entire genre, and you can't trademark that shit.
Yeah, especially considering that PewDiePie is now the highest ranked paid person on YouTube, and his main thing is Let's Plays.
Speaking of which,
Oh
he
God.
actually has his own network now.
Oh God,
Yep.
I made a perfect segue there, didn't I?
And you didn't
Yes,
even
you
mean
did.
it. Congratulations.
Perfectly.
So, he has his own company?
He made what you consider to be, you know how some groups have like management type deals?
Yeah, we actually
Well,
got an
on
offer from
YouTube,
one
there's
once.
makers. You know, there's like maker studios, stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's always wanted to make his own and make it more of like a family run type deal.
Yep, and this is called Rebel Mode. And along with it, he's got a bunch of other
He's got Jack, he's got Mark,
Mark.
he's got Cinnamon
Cinnamon
Toast
Toast Ken.
Ken, he's got Mary,
his
and there's a few
girlfriend.
others, and there's going to be more slowly. They're not going to make it in a huge explosion of people all at once in this group. They want to do it slowly, so that way as the group builds, they're actually putting a foundation into this, and there's going to be more support for the creators and everything than there normally is for a lot of these groups.
Gotta hand it to him. It's an ambitious but
I can see it
awesome
work.
idea.
He's wanted to do something like this for a couple of years now.
Now,
And now he's got the influence to be able to do this and the support from his friends.
he also has that YouTube money, which helps.
Yes.
But now, the curious thing that I want to know is how this is going to come out 3-4 years down the line, because that's when you start running into looking like a family home run store, and that's when you turn into something like Walmart.
Well, that's how
Because-
they want to start it, so that way there's more support, so they can put in a foundation of, okay, this is how we want to run our support system
You
for
know,
the
what,
creators,
you know what would be
and
nice?
then build off of that.
You know what would be nice? A YouTube company that's on YouTube that actually bothers to like help heighten lesser known Let's Players up into the rafters.
Which is one of the things he wants to do. He wants to do what he did that one time where he did a shout-out contest, and that's where Jack got his first main attention, was that. He wants to be able to start doing that more often.
Think he could suddenly do a shout out for our channel.
There you go.
Actually,
But then again, I've gone on record as saying fuck PewDiePie.
yeah, you
A
have.
lot.
Well
I like
done,
the
burning
fact
that
he
bridge.
actually does want to do what he's been saying for a couple of years now. He's not just saying it. He actually wants to do it.
And he does follow up on it all the time. He does, he actually does.
Hmm.
Strokes my beard and wonders at the wasted opportunities.
Well, keep in mind, I've also gone on record saying I appreciate PewDiePie, but I just don't like his content.
Which is legitimate.
Legitimate. But then again, I've also said fuck PewDiePie
Yeah.
in those
A lot of
exact
people
words.
said that.
Well-
He doesn't care.
Well, the question is, it depends on the connotation at which you use the word fuck PewDiePie.
I believe
Oh God.
I believe it was the way we were saying bonfire in Dark Souls. Banfur, and then I said, fuck PewDiePie.
Yeah. Yep. That's exactly what you said. That's exactly what you did. And then I went on record saying, you know, he's the one who got us into this shit, right?
I said, oh shit.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Wait, I either said "oh shit" or "don't care."
One or the other, but I think it's now
I think
more
it
of a
was
case
damn
of this first one now, I would think.
Well, just so everyone knows, so I can set the record straight, I don't mind PewDiePie. I'm just not a fan of his content. I don't watch his channel, mainly because I'm not a fan of the style of the whole picture over the gameplay, the camera over the gameplay. I'm not a fan of that style.
Which is actually interesting. He was the one who originated that style. He was the first guy to put himself on the internet with the face cam over the Let's Play.
Yeah,
I know.
he was one of the first, yeah.
He wanted to
He
get
was
the
the
horror
first.
reactions that he was getting when he played like Amnesia and stuff, so people could actually see him react to it.
Yeah, which is an interesting concept, but now it's been done to death, and now I'm seeing people doing it where they have like a green screen behind them, and all you see is their floating head in the corner as you stare at their empty corpse-like face.
That's why I like watching people like Chilled, because when he does put himself over the gameplay, you see behind him as well. It's not like a green screen. You see him in his actual chair, you know.
Yeah,
It's a genre
it's-
and a type of Let's Play.
yeah, not my cup of tea, but
There's multiple ways to do it. It's like all the different variations of rock music.
yeah, like Chug Conroy is a type of Let's Player who likes to 100% and gives super in-depth detail.
And he also does a solo, only voiceover and whatnot. He doesn't, and he also does it all live. It's not
Pre-recorded.
pre-recorded.
I know
so-
some Let's Players do pre-recorded, or some do post-commentary. Some of the mainly the Let's Players I like are the ones that just do live commentary as they're playing the game.
like we do, and we get to share with you all of the live reactions to our utter failures.
Yeah, and the unique thing
That's
about
what I like watching, is the people who are commenting as they're playing the game.
and the interesting thing about our Let's Plays is it's multiple people in the same room, so it's akin to like Game Grumps, but
Well,
we don't
that's also
suck.
why I like watching.
Oh, no, those are shots fired. Jeez.
It's not some of your,
Can you
personal
keep the
things there,
shotgun
Zero,
in
but
your
I
pants
like
and
when
not
people
throw it
are
out
playing
there?
Gmod stuff
Hmm.
together. Gmod, when you're one person, is kind of stupid to put on YouTube. But if you're playing things like Prop Hunt and stuff like that with friends, then that's when it becomes hilariously
Yeah,
interesting.
like Minecraft Let's Plays as well. Like single player Minecraft has kind of gotten a little stale, if you ask me. When you bring friends together.
Then crazy ass shit goes down.
Speaking
Cough, cough,
of
hack.
cough, cough, hack, hack, maybe possible future Let's Play in the future with Akarian music, cough, hack, hack, hack.
Legend will not be included because he is not a. He has a bit of a problem with Minecraft, even now.
As long as we don't get drunk like Mark, Bob, and Wade.
Well, considering
don't
I
get-
don't drink, we're safe on that.
I make no promises.
Neither do I. If I can actually get a Wii U myself.
I might take a shot every time I take fall damage.
Well, he's
Or
dead.
Hyper Minecraft because we hyped up a caffeine.
That I can do.
There we go, Hyper Minecraft. Woo! Ah.
What
I
is
prefer
going
skin
on
Minecraft.
here?
Well, it's going to be 3 numbnuts dressed up as fuzzy little woodland creatures.
Possibly 4.
Possibly 4.
Possibly 5.
Oh my
Oh,
god!
What?
There's only 3, me, Akari, and Muzi. And
Yeah,
then
I know, but I want to get in on this too. Hopefully.
that would make 4. Legend's not going to be part of this.
Oh, okay, then it is 4. Okay,
Yes.
I thought he was saying 4 because he changed.
No! No, I was referring to you!
Okay.
Moving on, let's continue on with the news.
Let's continue with the nonsense.
Mega Touch attempts to bring couples together with Naughty Find the Difference.
Oh my god!
So have you guys been to like a So have you guys been to like a an Applebee's or a Chili's type restaurant in the past couple of months?
No, our
Nope.
Chili's closed.
Okay, so they have these little touch screen pads now where you can basically play games or pay your bill and
Oh, I've
at the
seen stuff like that. Yeah.
like that. So one bar, these guys came up with a program that has the same interface, but instead of putting something like, I don't know, like a question, a quiz or something.
Or
No,
like-
they made a spot the difference picture game, and not just any spot the difference picture game, but an adult one meant for hooking people up.
Ooh.
What?
Oh boy.
Points for creativity, demerits for common sense.
Yeah, no fucking.
Well, keep in mind, one, this is in a bar, so 18 and up, at the very least, 21 and older, more likely.
Right.
So, but apparently, this is something that's getting pulled down.
I wonder why.
Well, it's mainly because the company was not apparently run well because the company actually shut down in May of 2015.
Well,
But apparently, from what this person wants to make it sound, they were hits.
they were successful.
Yes.
I hate humanity.
I marvel at humanity's progress sometimes, and then I wonder, well, you know what? There's the weird baggage that comes along with the train.
Very weird baggage.
The giant men's briefcase full of women's underwear. That baggage that comes along.
And a horse mask.
And the horse mask, of course.
And
we
the
can't
horse
forget
mask.
that.
Okay, so,
Moving on.
okay, so now we're going away from strange news to movie news. Movie and TV news. So, first off, we have the Suicide Squad trailer.
Yes.
Which I
Set to Queen.
Bohemian Rhapsody.
Can't get any better than that.
Oh boy.
So I gotta say, I was not that much of a fan of the Suicide Squad when I first saw the trailer. I was thinking, it's a Marvel movie, big whoop.
Yeah, that wasn't really catching my attention before.
And then I see this little masterpiece.
I never read the comics for Suicide Squad. I read about it, but this actually looks pretty good. It's like obviously
I can't remember who's actually playing Harley, but oh my god, she's hilarious in the trailer.
she is perfect.
The entire Bohemian Rhapsody song stops when she breaks open a window to a design store and just takes a purse out. And
yeah, what? We're bad guys.
and Will Smith is like, what? And she's like, what? We're bad guys.
And then there's the voices.
And still iffy on Jared Leto being the Joker.
I
have
rather
to see more before I decide whether I like that or not.
Margaret Robbie is Harley Quinn.
Okay.
Okay.
And I'm rather impressed by Will Smith's rendition of Deadshot.
Yeah, it looks interesting.
It's weird, when I first saw him, I was thinking, is that Deathstroke?
No, it's another shooting character.
Okay, yeah, because I was thinking, like, wait, is he supposed to be Deathstroke? And I was like, no.
No, Deathstroke's a different character entirely.
Yeah, Deathstroke's white.
Oh god, don't get into that.
Yeah.
He's missing an eye.
Yeah, that's true as well.
Anyway, so yeah, that came out. That looks awesome. Kudos.
And
give it a
who
look.
remembers a certain little trilogy of books from the childhood that had the scariest covers known to man?
Oh yes, Guillermo del Toro is saying he's going to adapt scary stories to tell in the dark.
Oh my god.
The guy who was going to work with Kojima to make PT.
Those things didn't scare me when I was a kid.
Because you're
Nothing-
weird.
Nothing
I just
does.
thought they were awesome.
Nothing does because you're strange, Wizzy.
Oh,
And you're
no.
strange too.
No, I'm just kidding. You're awesome.
I was gonna say the art to me wasn't really too creepy. It's not what scared me. It was the stories themselves that were like, holy shit, they actually go that far. So I'm interested to see what stories from this. Unless he's gonna do all of them, but
Well, I'm interested in seeing what kind of framework he's using because keep in mind most of those stories were just one shots. So is it going to be like an animatrix deal, or is it like he's going to make a centralized movie story for it, or what's he doing? So I guess it's going to come down to that. But the fact that he's making something arguably like to the majority of us is a wonderful horror-themed callback, I'm rather interested in seeing what he does.
That's true because there has been a really good like a horror anthology film ever since like Creepshow and Trick or Treat. But if he goes that route with anthology, then I believe that would actually work. I mean, if you make it like a couple out, like 2-hour movie with a bunch of short stories that scare the crap out of everyone, then I can get behind that. Get behind that.
All right. And you know, it's been a while since we've gotten some really good scary movies.
Yeah. And let's see. Maybe Del Toro can funnel some of his spooky ideas that he had for PT into this.
Ooh, yes.
No doubt, no doubt.
Wouldn't it be funny if the entire movie turned out just to be a PT movie?
Like,
Wow.
It's an
Fuck
excuse.
Konami!
like bite me, Konami.
I
No.
would love that.
Keep in mind, the term is fuck Konami. All one word.
No, it's fuck Nami.
It's fuck Nami, yes.
Fuck Nami.
Fuck Nami.
Oh man. Okay, has Konami done anything good recently? Like,
Actually, no. And it's funny you bring that up because I was watching The Completionist, and apparently, a certain company, who shall not be named, was responsible for putting out the
Saw the video game.
for the last generation of consoles.
What
Oh my
video game?
God. There's a Saw video game.
And it was horrible.
Oh.
Well, I mean, there were two more, but there was one Saw video game that was actually done by a competent company, or a semi-competent company before they went crazy.
oh, I wonder who.
Yeah. Good lord.
Anyway, so that's gonna be interesting. I hope that comes out well. Next is another interesting. So last year around the same time we had Law and Order taking on video games with their Anita Sarkeesian themed sort of episode.
Which I...
Fuck that episode.
Yeah.
Yes, fuck that episode. But now we have Degrassi, which is the Canadian teen drama, and they're doing esports and cyber harassment.
Degrassi? That show's still going on?
That show is perpetual. All they have to do is they make like a genealogy of here's some people that are related to the old cast, and you perpetuate it that way.
Good lord.
I never watched Degrassi.
I remember seeing it off in like the corner of like Nick at Night or like on an off channel, and I was like,
there's only two reasons to watch it. In that, number one, it is the most high school drama filled thing ever, where anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And number two, it's notable because that's what Drake did before becoming a rapper.
That's the only thing I remember on top of my head was that he was from that show.
Right. But so they're gonna focus on apparently that's gonna be a thing, and they actually talk with they get two reporters to actually go about and view the whole season because it's on Netflix now, or at least some of the episodes are released on Netflix, and so it actually becomes a running series where
More like a running gag.
oh, Canada, why do you create such shit?
well, this is season number 10.
To be fair, they didn't create Donald Trump, so...
True, but they did create
So-
Bieber.
So again, it's going to be interesting to see how they do it. Just keep in mind that they like to play up the drama quite a bit. They turn the drama to 11 on that show.
They turned it up to a lemon?
11.
I know, I was being silly.
Yeah. No, I think you're just telling them to suck lemons.
Oh, yes!
Oh.
Anyway, moving on from that shit.
Yeah,
next.
really telling them to suck lemons.
So, A Blast from the Past is coming back today if we release the podcast on time. If not, Sunday on the 24th. Woo-wee-oo.
Yep.
Oh my god. I grew up watching this and I nearly squeed when I saw the footage for
Who are you kidding?
oh my god.
You people are such nerds!
X-Files was the shit back in the 90s,
I
back
actually
then.
didn't really watch a lot of it.
Neither did I. I remember a few episodes. I remember an episode involving cigarettes and like a larva growing inside your lungs because of genetically altered tobacco.
I remember the episode where Bruce Campbell played a demon.
Of course you do.
And I remember one where Scully and Mulder went on a psychedelic trip because they were being slowly devoured by mushrooms.
Wasn't there an episode that, electronics kept telling people to kill each other?
Yeah, there was.
Oh,
That
my
I
word.
remember.
I remember
God.
an episode that involved a intelligent AI system inside a trailer park.
So clearly
Why do people
everyone
like
seems
X
to be-
Files?
So clearly everyone is hyped for the revival of X Files.
Yes.
This just
Well,
proves that redneck kills.
Well, I'll say this: it's a better role than Gillian Anderson did than when she was in Hannibal.
Hey, she was fine in the earlier seasons. It's before it went down the shit in the third one.
Oh god damn it! Did the final season of Hannibal suck ass?
Started on that.
Don't get me
Gillian
started on
Anderson
it,
ate her
too.
own leg.
Yeah.
No, he raged harder than you.
Yeah.
And longer.
Legend is showing me Monster Hunter stuff on his 3DS, and it's slightly soothing me.
So yes, I'm
So I
open
to break out the puppies.
Well, he's fighting a
Sorry.
giant, cute sloth-like thing.
They don't grow that big.
So yeah,
Yeah. Monster Hunter folks are like Dark Souls people with an evil sense of humor.
Oh, really?
Like, they'll throw this monster at you and you'll be like, okay, here's your monster, and this is around the size that it grows. Okay, it grows to be around the size of a small car? That's okay. Then they throw the skyscraper-sized monster at you and go, how about this?
oh my god.
Didn't you have to fight one that was bigger than a train?
Oh yeah, the Delameter, he was actually the giant snake that I had a big problem with, that asshole with. But anyway.
Oh, that thing. Ooh.
Yep.
Moving on.
Anyway.
Moving on.
All right, let's move on to the next topic. Zero Legend, you may find this next story very interesting.
How interesting are we talking about?
Ravenloft levels of interesting.
Oh,
Because Wizards of Coast is enlisting Ravenloft's original writers to rewrite Castle Ravenloft, the module upon which the Ravenloft world is based off of, for 5th edition of D&D.
Ooh. So, 5th edition D&D Ravenloft.
so they're adapting the fan work into the original.
No. Okay, so there's a little bit of history you actually don't know about because we kind of just stepped into it when we joined with Buck and Tails. But originally, back in 2nd edition Dungeons & Dragons, Castle Ravenloft was this campaign, a separate one-off or separate adventure you could go on, or a separate module, that was so well-liked that it actually inspired a spin-off campaign world.
Okay.
And that was Ravenloft.
And that was the Ravenloft we had the source material of. And even though that there were different translations across the different variants, it was never remade again, I think, outside of 3.5. So this is going to be the biggest translation of Ravenloft, and it's not going to be just a translation, it's going to be a reimagining, so they're essentially rebooting Ravenloft.
That is pretty cool.
That's
Yes.
interesting. So, will it be the Ravenloft before or after the Great Rift?
So it's depending on how they decide to do it. It could be they're doing so basically what ended up happening is that Strahd has his own event, which is detailed in his backstory, which is how Ravenloft got formed. Basically, the end of the D&D campaign is what sets up our adventures.
Ah.
Yep.
So basically, whatever Strahd did in Faerun, which is the Dungeons and Dragons world, actually sets up the land of Ravenloft for us. So depending on what happens with this, that might actually affect what I have in mind for when we play again.
Huh. Well, that'll be interesting, and we'll get to what our campaign was like a little bit ago.
Because spoilers, we are getting into a new campaign.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait to hear this. It's always my
Yeah.
favorite part of the podcast.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
And you get a
so-
front row seat.
So they are working on the Wizards of Coast got the original guys to work on that. That should be coming out probably maybe towards the end of the year. I don't know how long it takes for them to actually do the writing, but I can imagine it takes a good amount of work because they need to get the time in and stuff.
Not to mention doing all the balancing stuff for characters.
Well, they have the system in place already, so it's just a matter of making it fit. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be some balance issues, but not as many as you would think.
Legend,
Certainly not as many as I needed to make for my
Legend, how difficult was it to balance spells or make spells?
Oh, it was very easy. All I had to do was put everything down and then have the GM throw everything else out.
Yeah, but I mean that's because we already have a framework set up. So this shouldn't be as bad. Let's go into some game news for once, finally. So, who here is a fan of Twin Peaks?
I've heard of it.
I've heard about it. I've seen clips of it, but I never watched it.
Me either.
Okay.
I do know
what
that a
about
lot of
Deadly Premonition?
I've heard of Deadly Premonition because Spoonie hates it.
Well, if I just may do one quick reference here for Twin Peaks. Do you remember the red and black room and the devil in Soul Eater?
Yeah?
Basically, take that and create an entire series out of it.
Okay.
And that's basically Twin Peaks.
Yeah, that's pretty much it from what I recall. So...
Oh, and turn the creep factor up by 10.
And so the connection here is that there's this game in Japan that did it way before either of them did, and it was on the PS1.
Oh, really?
Yes, it was called Mizuma Falls.
Really?
Yeah, and apparently the reason we haven't heard of it is because it was Japanese only.
Did it just suddenly get a...
Translation, yes. Someone translated it live.
Oh,
Japanese text so that everyone can see this gloriousness.
Oh, crap.
that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I have to check this out.
Well, there's a link to it in the notes, so feel free to check it out when you get the chance.
Right.
And along with that, let's go into some more news. Bayonetta 2 gets a solo release finally on February 19th.
Yeah, the original Bayonetta was a package release with the original Bayonetta, which was ported, which was what we played.
Yeah. Which was fun.
Yes, it was. It really was kind of fun whenever I didn't suck at it.
But that was fun for us. So.
Yeah, or just watch me play it and not suck. Yeah. Although I did my fair share of suckage as well, but then again, that's the Let's Play curse for you.
When did you start to suck? I don't remember it.
Around the fight with
As soon
Jubileus.
as you turn on the camera.
There was a camera.
As soon as
Or
you
you
turn
turn
on
on the recorder. You know what I mean.
Anywho, yeah, so it's getting a solo release, although I highly recommend you get the combo pack if you haven't ever gotten the first Bayonetta.
Well, definitely, because it's a good price for both of them.
Yeah, it's like, what? It was like $30 for the whole set, or...
$59.99.
Yeah, so you were basically getting like $25 for both games, which is still pretty damn good.
Oh yeah.
Oh, heck yeah.
Hells yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how this will pan out, but again, if you haven't gotten both, get the combo. It's worth it.
I still haven't played Bayonetta. More than, through the first level and a half or so.
I should let you borrow it sometime.
Well, you can always watch our Let's Play if you don't want to play it.
Or you just want to watch a couple of chuckleheads do horribly, horribly bad.
Or just watch me play it.
That was our most awkward Let's Play ever, if I recall right.
It was our second, wasn't it?
Actually, I think, but I'm going to go ahead and flat out say this. That and our Mega Man X Let's Plays were really awkward.
Yeah, they were. You weren't exactly the best, and we kind of had some odd moments, especially when we recorded through a thunderstorm.
Yeah,
And we had a power surge, and we had to re-record the same part over.
Yeah, we had to re-record Flame Mammoth, and then we had an issue with the Launch Octopus episode, where we had to do post-commentary.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was a pain.
Yeah. So that Let's Play was a pain in the ass. Bayonetta was awkward because Legend didn't work well with it, and we didn't know how to deal with voice-acted cutscenes.
Yep, there was actually a point that I actually started singing what was on screen. I didn't realize they were doing that there was a singing part. They were actually singing. That it was Bayonetta doing the singing.
Yeah.
I feel churlish for actually having sung during that part.
It's alright, man. I will go ahead and say this. No offense, Leo, but when you and I are Let's Playing alone together, for some reason the shenanigans kind of suddenly halt.
You're implying that I'm the major cause of these shenanigans.
Well, you're a catalyst.
Well, the deal is that when I'm playing, I'm too focused on the game to actually make commentary. And when you're playing, I don't want to be an ass and go ahead and disrupt you from your game.
I'd prefer you did. At least then we'd have some action going on.
Yes, and then you rage. Then you rage immediately, die, and then it goes back to me.
Well, if that happens, you keep letting me play it until I get through it.
Yeah, but then we have this situation where we haven't exactly worked out that yet.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the only time we've ever did it, and it was kind of a different game because it wasn't an RPG. It was a action. It was a platformer. So
yeah,
it's a very different game for trying to test out a new dynamic. Probably not the best idea in all.
Yeah, kind of like how our Golden Sun Let's Play idea was kind of a bust as well.
Yeah.
Well, that's just because of exposition.
And the
Very
thing is,
much so.
the exposition's only
Because
in the
dialogue.
It's only at the beginning that the exposition is mind-numbing.
Yeah, mind-numbing all the same. Yeah, how long were we stuck there? We were stuck there for about 40 minutes, draining our voices of all sense and reason. Honestly, I would say that the genre of that type of game is probably best suited for like a one-person Let's Play, because it makes it more personal. Like, you're talking and
Oh my god.
discussing this.
If I decide to, I might do a Let's Play of it in the future solo. Like,
I'd watch it.
although I don't know if I could actually match your crazy ideas you had with Kraden.
Yeah, I love the idea of having Kraden, the professor at the very beginning of the game, who's supposed to be the good professor, the Dr. Light, be the catalyst for all the evil things that happen throughout the game, and I was voicing him to do exactly that.
Well,
So you turned Dr. Light into Dr. Wily.
Yeah, I turned Dr. Light into Dr. Wily.
Although Kraden isn't exactly kosher. Because he was actually, I'm going to go ahead and say this, he was working for a guy named Balbi, who is technically over 170 years old. Because he's drinking the elixir of the Atlanteans.
Well.
And he was trying to research ways to extend Balbi's lifespan. That was his main thing. Also, he has a strange fascination with werewolves in the second game.
Like, how strange? Like, is it, ooh, these are creatures, or like, I want to bone one of them?
Not the latter, more the former, but it's more the former, but he's really enthusiastic. He's like, you don't understand what this means for the scientific community!
Okay.
He's
When did we come back to Plague Knight?
It's a belongs in the museum situation, is what you're telling me.
Kinda, yes, but he's more like he wants to understand how they came to be, what's their relationship to synergy and alchemy and like that.
Okay.
Well, all of that aside, where are we?
Something that I never expected to happen, a Dark Souls comic.
Oh, there's plenty of those around.
But an official one.
This one is about, this is what is it called? It's a,
Adaptation?
not an adaptation, but it's when it's canonical, when it's done by the same company, or by the original company. It's a
Licensed product.
Licensed product. Thank you.
License. There you go.
It's a licensed comic.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
So probably more.
And it's coming out a week before Dark Souls 3.
A week before Dark Souls 2. Oh.
So essentially, it's a
3.
prelude.
Essentially, yes. Considering that this one's supposed to have a closer tie, yes.
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
I'm probably gonna be picking this up when it comes out.
And
Well-
our comic shop locally is actually really good at getting stuff like this in.
Oh yeah, especially with someone who.
I might ask you to
Like-
ship me a comic because there's no good comic shops near our area, is there?
No, there's a comic shop on the west side, Asylum Comics.
Really?
Yes, it's on. It's by the festival strip.
We actually have a better
You mean
comic
off
shop,
of,
we've been told, than
You mean off of Main
further south
Main
in the
Street?
state.
I believe you. I believe you.
Huh.
And further south is a bigger city.
Well.
Well then, so I'm kind of looking forward to this, and I'm looking forward to Dark Souls 3. I need to pre-order that.
There
Already
you go.
did. Already
There you
did.
go.
I don't
Alright,
have money, so-
Speaking of what's coming out, you said it's coming out in April, I believe, correct? Dark Souls 3?
Yes.
Well, you know what else you're gonna have to save money for?
Bravely Second.
Bravely Second comes out April 15th.
Where have you been? Bravely Second, where have you been?
In
And there's a
translation,
huge collector's edition on pre-order at GameStop that has a huge art book and, like, I believe a poster and some really cool stuff.
Oh my word.
And it's probably like $100.
Oh, I bet.
What's $100?
The collector's edition of Bravely Second.
Actually, 70.
It's 70. It's not much more than a console game.
Fuck!
Well, it's got like the soundtrack and the guide, and that's pretty much how it comes all with.
Soundtrack
Anyway.
guide, art book.
That might be all you need.
There you go.
Just the art book itself would be amazing.
but yes, the party comes back and we have more wonderful adventures in the Bravely Default world.
Yeah, and because I heard about that, I had to go back and find the original anime trailer that that IGN showed. And my god, I still love that song that plays. It's completely J-pop, but it's still amazing. And oh god, can April happen faster? Oh wait, no. Wait, I don't want April to happen faster because that's when my my judge, jury, and execution exam is at.
There you
Plus,
go.
I
I was
don't
about
want
to say, you hush your goddamn mouth.
skip the concert I'm going to.
Alright, so next thing we have, Fire Emblem Fates gets a new 3DS release as well.
What?
Yeah, a 3DS
XL
XL.
bundle release, actually.
Oh.
And you just got a 3DS XL, didn't you, Legend?
This isn't an XL. This is a freaking new
Regular.
3DS.
New
Regular.
Nintendo 3DS XL.
Okay, so here's the breakdown. Birthright and Conquest, which are the versions, are being released separately for $39.99.
Yeah?
You can download the opposite version if you have one for $19.99.
Uh-huh.
And then the third story, which is going to be Revelation, is also $19.99 and comes out March 10th,
Unless you bought the special double pack, in which it'll be free for you.
which is $80.
Which I got.
Now keep in mind that the 3D XL package comes with one of the games, I believe.
Yeah. But it comes with a special dual-sided 3DS.
Yes, and it goes ahead and comes with special artwork, of course.
Which is really nice and... damn it.
I might actually get that one in all fairness. Especially because I prefer the bigger consoles as opposed to the smaller ones on the handhelds.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the, I want to say either better known or underrated RPGs from the PS2 is getting a remake.
Oh yeah, Odin Sphere. That's another Atlas game, if I recall right.
Odin Sphere is coming out June 7th, which is only
I
a
don't
couple of
think I
days
ever
after my
played that.
birthday. Well, if
Never
you
played that
haven't, settle down because you're going to come in for an experience.
If I recall, isn't it a six-sided story?
Yes, it is, and there were some glitches related to that Although the hope is that they will get patched in the remake.
Yeah,
Because the problem was that you had the six-sided story, and after the boss fight with each character, that character story ends.
all right.
When you get to the end. And whatever condition your characters were in at the end of that boss fight, that's where you picked up from.
So if you were like clinging on to like 1 HP,
Yep, you're basically stuck on 1 HP. And then they throw you into a dungeon and say, hey, you gotta continue your adventure now.
oh god, that's awful.
Yeah, but a lot of people are hoping they either patch that or they fix it or something.
Ugh, God, I hope so, because that sounds horrible.
Yeah. Anyway, that's coming out June 7th. Prison Architect is getting a console version.
Prison Architect. Is that the one where you design a prison and you basically manage resources and whatnot?
Correct.
Never heard of that one either.
Isn't that like a weird indie game?
It was. It is.
Oh,
Isn't that one of the ones you play, Muzzy?
No.
That's prison.
The one I played was Escapist.
Oh, okay. I confused it with The Escapist, that's why.
No, that's two completely different things. Prison Architect, if I recall right, was more 3D modeled.
My bad.
And
well.
The Escapist is pixels.
Okay,
Yes.
I thought it was The Escapist, but oh well. Next, we have, of course, the Amiibos, which are Ryu, Roy, and Famicom Rob,
Woohoo!
which are coming out in March.
Gotta
Aw.
pre-order Roy. Must pre-order Roy because I vow to have every single
He's our
Fire
boy.
Emblem character.
Roy, he's our boy.
And they actually have an Animal Crossing amiibo I actually might get for myself.
They have the Villager.
Well, no, they have Timmy and Tommy.
Oh yeah, the cute little raccoon twins.
The Tanuki twins.
Are they Nook's cousins or?
They're not even
son?
related to Tom.
Nephews or something like that.
Technically,
They're
they're not
nephews.
they're not related
Nephews.
to Tom Nook at all. And they're identified by a mole on their hand.
Oh, man. A
That is
mole
so
on their
cute.
hand? I don't think we're going to get the opportunity. Hang on. Did we lose?
Yo,
Yo, we're
Yo.
here.
no, I'm here.
Well, then don't go quiet. You gave us a scare.
Sorry, it's just I don't have it. I'm letting you guys take over because I've been doing a lot of talking.
All right.
No problem. So yeah, I can't wait to get some of these new amiibo releases. But yes, I hope to get like Zero. I'm hoping to get all the Fire Emblem ones because I finally got the one I wanted for Fire Emblem. Oh
Good,
yeah.
I'm
At the
running out of
moment,
shelf
I'm only
space.
missing Marth and Lucina.
All right.
Need to get
Well,
those.
and I'm not really into collecting them yet, so I might get into it a bit more once I get a 3DS, new 3DS. So we'll see.
I was trying to get you a Zelda amiibo before you left for Iowa for like your birthday, but they didn't have any anywhere I went.
That's cool, dude. Let me see. So the next thing we have on here is that Twilight Princess is getting a remake for Wii U, no?
Yes.
Yep.
And they
Yep.
also did say that they were making amiibos.
Yes. A little info about the amiibos for the Zelda. Link and Toon Link, when scanned over your while you're playing in HD, will actually restore your arrows. Putting Zelda or Sheik on top will restore your hearts
And you can do this at any time?
once a day.
Once a day. Okay, that's how they don't
Which
make it
makes
broken.
sense because
But
they're
for
not-
Ganon, what it does is he turns your hearts blue, and you take double damage.
Do you
It
deal
turns
with
the game into a
No, you
hard
don't.
mode.
You take double damage.
So Ganon gives you hard mode.
On top of hero mode, possibly, which would mean 4 times more damage.
Oi.
Yes.
And the thing is, you
But
can turn
that's
it on and
perfect
off
for
whenever
people
you
who
want.
like that sort of challenge, though. So
You can turn it on and off whenever you want.
Hmm.
And for the Wolf Link, what it does is it unlocks a special dungeon that you can only go through as Wolf Link. And if you go down to the bottom with the Giant's Wallet, the Max Wallet, it gives you the bottomless wallet, which gives you access to 9,999 rupees. Because remember in Twilight Princess, the max for the Giant's Wallet was only 1,000 rupees.
Joy. Which meant 1,000 seconds to burn if you're wearing the magic armor. Which, by the way, is the most bullshit thing that I could rant about, so let's move on before...
Okay, so the magic armor, am I hearing this correctly? It's a armor that runs on your money?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
1 second.
1 rupee.
Of pure invincibility.
It's an invincibility armor.
It's like when you get hit, it takes away rubies if you get hit.
No. It takes rupees by the second.
1 money gone, 2 money gone, 3 money gone, 4 money gone. I'm
Okay,
tanking
so-
everything, but I'm losing my mind after cutting that grass for 5 hours.
But with the bottomless wallet now, boosting it up to 9,999, they might actually boost it to like 2 or 3 a second.
Oh, so they would make
God.
it even more bullshit?
Yes, to balance it out.
Not necessarily. I mean, if it's gonna be like the wolf dungeon, and it's gonna be like the end game sort of final reward. I mean, I think I think that's what the whole point of it
Yeah,
is.
if I recall right, it's like a 50 level. It's kind of like the other labyrinth with the great fairies in Twilight Princess. It's going to be like 50 levels. I think you don't get any healing items except for what you can get from the enemies.
Oh, that's going to be fantastic. Like, it's living off of the sustenance of your enemies.
Well, yeah, because you're stuck as a wolf. You're stuck as Wolfwood. You can't use any healing items.
Ooh.
I wonder. I forgot. If you died as Wolf Link, did fairies bring you back to life?
I think they did, but I'm not sure.
I don't know because I never died as Wolf Link. Unless I fell down a
Maybe they
pit.
do.
That's a good question. I've never played it, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to fix Wolf Link, because there were some weird things about Wolf Link that kind of turned me away from using him way too much.
I found out that as well, one of the new mechanics, if you just tap the screen, you'll instantly turn into Wolf Link.
That's
Now
cool.
that will
Instead,
become
instead of having to talk to me and say, turn me into a wolf.
Yeah. That was annoying.
Yeah, so you could just touch like the gamepad and say, whoop, wolf.
I want to be a wolf. Boom, I am a wolf. Now what?
Now all I can think about is Hotel
Now I chase my
Transylvania,
tail.
blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
I do not say
think of
blah,
blah,
blah, blah.
I am glad that they're bringing back a lot, that they're adding on to Twilight Princess. In Wind Waker, they didn't really add anything. That's more like they fixed it.
Yeah.
So,
Also, apparently, I saw this on like Game Explain as well. They're adding a new lamp that looks like the pose lamp from Twilight Princess, like the lamps that the pose were holding. So what I think that's going to do is, you know how hard it was to get all 60 pose?
yeah.
What I think it'll do is it'll help you detect pose while you're human.
I never actually finished Twilight Princess.
Same here.
Really?
That's a shame because it was a really good game.
And the Ganon fight in that game is unbelievable.
I'd say I haven't played it, but I would say the final battle with Ganon in that one's probably the best one of the series.
It's
Easily.
It's four
Really?
state.
I heard that it was like really weak compared to some of the other games.
Oh,
Well,
dude.
Here's what, Leo. Let me explain what you got to do. First, you got to fight Puppet Zelda.
Yeah, you fight Zelda.
You fight Ganon possessing Zelda, and she looks twisted, and you can hear like weird bone cracking noises as Ganon's trying to control her.
And he does control her enough that he actually unleashes the power of the Triforce on your ass.
Ganon or Zant, just to be clear.
Ganon.
Ganon.
Okay, just making sure.
Then, after you save Zelda, you fight the giant boar version of Ganon, which
And-
you have to fight as Wolf Link.
And the cool part about this fight is he's not bipedal. He is quadrupedal.
He is full on boar, like the boar that enemy
yeah.
goblin
Like in
rides.
Smash Brothers?
Yeah, the Smash Brothers.
Yes. And he can teleport.
Yeah.
And you have to basically get into a sort of matador-style battle with this guy. Either letting him run past you or shooting him dead between the eyes with an arrow.
And then going into wolf form, or staying in wolf form, and then suddenly gnawing on the weak spot on his belly.
Yeah, ripping his living guts out as a wolf.
Then,
like
you
Zole.
move. Then the castle collapses, and then you have to fight him
On horseback.
as Zelda is shooting arrows at the guy.
And he's also summoning a cavalry of his own to target you. You versus an army of ghosts to fight him.
Then it turns into a solo one-on-one match.
And this sword duel is unbelievably tense.
And yet he can be distracted by a fishing rod.
That is a glitch. I hope they patch that out. It is bullshit that you can get away with that. Because, goddammit,
I hope they keep it in.
Yeah, I think the thing, like,
It's
they
kind of
might
like the thing that they had with the bottle in Ocarina of Time.
I could forget that because it was also bullshit. It's a magic magnet. It's a magic. Okay.
We lost him.
Okay.
But yeah, tell me, you say that fight is bullshit, that it's weak. It's no.
I've
no.
heard it is.
No.
It's not. Believe me, that fight easily had me gripping my remote so hard I almost broke it.
Honestly, that's a fight where you're saying, is he dead yet? Is he dead yet?
And Ganon proves again and
Is it
again and
over?
again, no, I'm not dead yet, you motherfucker, and I'm going to keep coming back in true Ganon style until you are dead or I die.
Yeah, and
And
then
not to
he
mention
dies
the music
standing
for it.
up.
Yeah, he dies Benkei style.
He dies standing on his two front feet.
And everyone's standing there just wondering, wow, will he ever come back? Just watching
What
that.
the
It
hell
was
just happened?
Yeah, although I still don't get the scene where he has that vision of Zant, and then Zant just suddenly snaps his neck, and then he just suddenly goes, oh! Dies. I never got that.
I do have a theory, but I would discuss it if we ever do a non-white listed Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Hear that, Nintendo? We're waiting.
Yeah.
Let's move on because we still have a little bit more to go, and we still haven't done the Ravenloft stuff yet.
Oh god, and we're 2.5 hours in.
Exactly. It's going to be a fucking while, gentlemen and lady. Okay, so Indie Horror Corner. We got 3 games on the Indie Horror Corner. Well,
Okay.
let's go over the first one quickly. FNAF World got released already. It was scheduled when I first saw this story on the 13th as February 19th. Then it got released yesterday or 2 days
But
ago.
when has
It was
Ghost
supposed to.
ever
He
brought
then
out a
decided
game
to
on
jump it
the
forward to
27th?
January 22nd. He decided to upload it on the 19th.
When has he ever brought out a game when he said he was going to? It's always early.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Except for
Scott
this time
Cawthon
it's
is an
biting him in the
anomaly.
butt
And
because people are slightly irritated with some of the glitches.
Yes.
I haven't experienced any yet, so I can't say anything about that.
Right.
Well,
So
you can't say that you haven't because even you've noticed the leveling system.
Oh yeah, that's the only thing I don't think is you can't see stats. That's the only thing that bugs me is you can't see stats. But other than that, I think it's a very fluid game.
I saw Manly Badass Hero do a preview of it, and I was like, I'm like,
It's one of those it's not going to be for everybody.
I'll say this much: the animation's kind of interesting because it kind of reminds me of like Donkey Kong, kinda like the Rareware Donkey Kong,
Oh yes.
but like a lot more smooth and polished animation. Weird, considering it was Rare back in the day.
rare to be rare or rare for rare to rare. It's I don't even know what the hell.
You fail.
I fail. Moving on.
You lost
Oh.
out.
Moving on, next Indie Horror Corner title.
Next Indie Horror Corner title, Knuckle Sandwich, which,
Ah.
ironically, despite the name, is not a fighting game.
What is it?
It is a Pokemon. It is a Earthbound-inspired Pokemon game, apparently.
Already?
What?
That's at least what it touts itself as.
So, go around, like, urban America, collecting monsters.
Well, not collecting monsters per se. It just says it's Pokemon inspired. There's a teaser trailer that shows you walking around an overworld and getting into a fight with monsters, and then your character runs away.
I love the questioning tone. Monsters?
I mean, again, it's Earthbound inspired, so there's monsters might not be the proper proper word for what is seen in the trailer.
Like you're suddenly fighting the new age retro hippie.
No, the trailer showed garbage, as in literal garbage. But again, I have no idea what I don't know how the Pokemon theme is gonna fit in.
Maybe you're gonna have to beat like 8 gym leaders or something. 8 big baddies.
What part of I don't know was not clear the first time around?
Well, we'll find out when we find more info about it, I guess.
Well, again, they released a teaser. There's nothing that I currently have.
All right, then. So with that, let's go on to our final one, which is Katana Zero, Ninja Gaiden meets Hotline Miami.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, so it's another game from Adult Swim Studios, and this one features a samurai who goes ahead and apparently runs through combating a evil organization, and this assassin uses a special drug to plan out and meditate his assaults.
Alrighty then.
Oh,
So-
already off to a fantastic start.
So you go ahead, you go onto a mission, you platform your way through, and then you start doing the mission, and it's basically kill or be killed in an insta die sort of manner. Think of it like Super Meat Boy in a sense, but with an action flair to it.
Oh god, not Super Meat Boy.
Because you run, you attack, you kill, or you get killed. And then if you die, you go back and you try again. But because this is all planning, that's how they perpetuate that, no, this isn't real, you're just thinking about how that would work. And then when you complete the stage, you get this black and white screen that says, okay, that'll work. And then you actually see a replay of your character doing it through the lens of a security camera.
Really?
Wow.
Yes. So that's how they sort of...
Crime for dummies.
Well, it's not really crime, as you're slowing down time to ricochet bullets back using your katana.
Alrighty then.
That sounds
yeah.
fucking insane.
Interesting little gem that's going to come out. I'm looking forward to seeing it.
All right,
This,
then.
I'm excited. I actually might try to get this one when it comes out. It looks pretty cool.
And with that, that's all of the news, stupid news, game news, movie news, and all.
News, period.
Yes.
Okay.
And with that, let us start the
Ravenloft.
Okay, so let's go ahead and catch everyone up.
All right,
So-
but first off, I do want to say this is the first time that we've ever had the GM do the descriptions.
Well, because I'm the GM, that would be more the appropriate way to discuss it. Is that this is my first time actually DMing, and this is the first time that they have seen my DM style.
Which is honestly, it's very similar to Bucks, but at the same time, it had its own unique quirks.
Yep.
And it's also interesting because this is going to be a homebrewed campaign, because everything that was borrowed from Buck had a pre-existing module or had written material to it. Everything I'm doing is extrapolated from 25 years from that, based on the adventures that occurred in our campaign.
Oh joy!
So there's a bit that you can somewhat use, and then there's a lot that you can't.
All right, so explain some of the stuff that you could use.
Well, it's not really that. It's more of like, so here's the deal. The story takes place 25 years after the end of the last campaign. So there's a lot of wiggle room as to what needs to be extrapolated on, and there's a lot of things that Buck didn't use in his campaign that I can use. So there's a lot of questions of what I can fill in. So to start off, let's go back to the end of the last campaign, where my character, Lou Cullen, the half-elf Irish knight, received baronhood from the new ruler of the land, Gabriel Adiri.
All right.
So he becomes a baron, and he governs the land pretty well. And so the events of this particular adventure start 25 years after that, where he's beginning he's in preparation for the harvest festival to celebrate the finalization of the renovations to the castle.
Okay.
So for let me see, I'm trying to remember the order that I did this in. So the first character that we had was Buck's character.
Yep. Buck actually started participating in this campaign as a player character.
Which was weird for us because we were used to him being the GM trying to screw us over.
But
Right.
it was welcome. I recall that he played a everyman character.
He played
Yes.
a character that had the mundane disadvantage.
Which means that he does not believe in magic, he does not believe in fairies, does not believe in elves, he doesn't believe in any of that crap.
Well, it's not that he doesn't. It's not that he just doesn't believe it. It's actually that he has like zero magic capabilities, and he can't use magic. He can't use any magical items.
So he doesn't know. He tries to rationalize everything that's magic in his head, trying to logic his way out.
Right, which is partly because of where he came from. That his ethnicity is tied to a divine curse, where people don't believe in any supernatural. He essentially has Scully syndrome.
He has Scully syndrome.
Essentially, if you want to put it that simply. So, he is Buck's character is the royal engineer. And so he starts out the day getting his orders, and that the reunion for the very important people, they are short a bard. So
Boy.
being his trusted advisor, he goes ahead and asks his close friend and royal engineer to go out and find him a bard.
So they do. Well, the first person who finds the bard wasn't in fact
A bar.
it wasn't in fact our engineer buddy, it was a certain paladin who, well,
So
Yeah.
Legend played a paladin.
it was my first time playing a paladin, and I kind of designed him around being a mage, a spell sword kind of guy, but I had a unique quirk that was involved. He's a pacifist, but he still cuts things, though he inflicts no damage. He's basically got an enchanted sword that's this relic from the Ezran Church, the local surrogate of the Catholic Church, that inflicts fatigue damage instead of actual cutting or thrusting damage.
Which was rather unique.
It means that I can never actually get a kill, but I can knock people out with it.
And you did
Yep.
a lot.
But,
Yeah.
but we're jumping ahead. So
yeah.
We'll get into
Tails' character, Tails is
The batshit bard.
Captain
the bard in
Feathersword.
who is Captain Feathersword from the fucking Wiggles cartoon.
So,
Oh man.
do you guys, Muzi, Akari, do you know what we're talking about?
Partially.
Well,
Go ahead. Let me go ahead and bring up the. Let me go ahead and give you an image of what we're looking at. And of course, Tails had to put a dark twist on it. So the dude's naturally a drunk, a womanizer, and delusional in believing he's cursed.
And he also has the unlucky perk.
Which I did not exploit because I was being kind. But anyway, that's I just put that in the chat. That's what you're looking at in terms of the Tails' character.
Take a look, guys. Let's see your reaction.
It looks like Bad Luck Bootsy.
Someone deflated.
It looks like a bad Captain Kangaroo.
That's Captain Feathersword.
oh god.
Oh. Yeah, so...
So, our introduction to this character was I'm walking through the streets and Captain Feathersword falls over, passing out drunk,
And barfs on you.
and barfs on me.
Oh.
Originally woke up in a gutter.
And then here's the crazy part. He magics himself a maid to clean off the barf from the paladin's clothes.
Which is, by the way, so high end in terms of magical ability that it was banned from our original campaign.
But there were a couple of limitations that Tails got, mainly which was singing, first off, Legend.
All right.
Tails' character can only do the magic via singing, which has some limitations on movement and control. Then there's also the time that actually is required to cast that, as well as I put, I think, 10-point unusual background, which limits her options. And then I think I also put a quirk the character cannot learn thaumatology.
Yeah, so they can't learn any new spells, or if they can, really difficultly.
Well, they can't homebrew spells, which is what mages do if they don't have access to a library.
Right.
If you have a tutor and you have books, you can do that pretty much fine. It's when you're homebrewing it that you have issues.
Yep, and homebrew spells were my specialty.
Right. Anyway, so that happens. Meanwhile, Zero's character, who is playing
Weather Mage, Celos Lufir.
an amnesiac orphaned Weather Mage, comes across the scene on his way to go receive a bonus for helping out with the crop harvest, and everyone sees this scene.
Yep. Sees the scene and proceeds to enjoy the show.
Yes, I was laughing my ass off and wondering if I should toss a copper at the show.
Oh, man.
Yes. So, so everyone manages to meet, and I give the characters time to go ahead and chat and figure out what's going on with things, and so they go into an inn or a bar, which happens to have very significance to a certain character who is deceased.
Yeah, a certain one-armed giant whom the inn was named after. And it was actually it was actually really cool of you, Leo, to include him.
Yeah, because... Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give advice to anyone who wants to make a character for any sort of tabletop RPG. Unless you have a defined backstory, do not, and I emphasize this for all purposes, do not pick either an amnesiac character or an orphan. and I say both because two of the people, Zero and Legend, are playing orphan characters.
Well, I did have a backstory for him. He was...
Yeah, but because you have a specific disadvantage, which means you don't know exactly what's wrong with you, and because you're still an orphan, I as the GM have the ability to fuck with you in so many ways. You have no idea what is going to happen to you.
Oh God.
So, unless you like the idea of having your very biology being toyed with by the GM, do not pick an orphan, do not pick an amnesiac.
Yeah, not
and if you do, be very precise about who knows you, who's alive, and who is dead.
Personally, I like to see what the heck you come up with, because I like being surprised.
Oh, I think everyone's going to be surprised eventually, but that's too much foreshadowing. Let's move on.
Oh, that's ominous.
You mean like the unusual thing about my character that he has a fear of whales?
Yeah, there's a reason for that, but let's move on.
All right.
So everyone is getting acquainted with each other at the bar, and this odd stranger with he looks like an assassin from Assassin's Creed 2 almost, goes up and starts chatting about a book which Buck happens to know about.
I do want to bring up something that Leo did that was very interesting for this particular campaign, and that was the existence of private orders.
Yeah, what I did is that to help speed up the process of giving everyone little story arcs, is I gave everyone little details or information about things in advance. I think the only one I didn't. No, I did. Did I give you something, Zero? I think you're the only one I didn't give something to.
I don't think you gave me anything proper.
No, but we did do a lot of work regarding the your heirloom necklace. We did do that.
Yeah, we kind of made plans for me to possibly get it.
I think that's what that was.
Yeah.
Okay, so I basically gave little plot points for everyone's, or little plot openers, so that way everyone had something to focus on. The inheritance for Zero's character, divine orders for Legend's character, a tip from an old friend for Tails' character, and then I gave Buck's character, who, because he had so much experience, or would have had so much experience canonically with Lou to know enough history, I gave him like a shortened synopsis of like the history of what happened in the past 25 years. So we go ahead and we have that adventure where so the mysterious stranger goes up and talks to Buck's character about a particular book, and I go ahead and alert Legend to the fact that this is the guy that he was sent to look for.
Yeah, I was sent basically on a manhunt. Which is pretty badass. I really did enjoy that, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to keep my eyes open for this. Lo and behold, the guy I'm looking for walks into the bar. I look at my orders, I look at him, he looks at me looking at my orders, looks at me, and the chase begins. Boom, we're out the door. Boom, we're all over there, and then boom, we're in the middle of the very first fight.
Yep.
As a paladin, I am equipped again with that weird fatigue sword, as well as with a shield. Shield Knight over here.
Yeah, another thing about my character, not only is he a weather mage, but he has the most OP shield that the GM could make.
Because that was one of the things that you wanted to do, was you
wanted to literally be Naofumi from Rise of the Shield Hero.
Not a bad choice of characters, by the way.
Honestly, his personality is kind of like that as well. Kind, but also very brash.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so this fight also features another very interesting introduction. Firearms.
Yes, because the GM has been playing a lot of Bloodborne.
Yes, but also because it's 25 years into the future, this particular area happens to be pretty close, was on the edge of developing firearms prior to the end of our campaign. So 25 years into the future, they would have certainly had plenty of innovations with firearms, which includes some Bloodborne-inspired weaponry.
Yep. Some of this was historically accurate, such as the sword and pistol.
Yeah, which is very cool. And he introduced an interesting item. The weird weapon that was both a sword... Yeah, what you mentioned, the sword and pistol.
Parthian rapier. There's an old weapon called a Parthian rapier, which was a rapier that had a flintlock pistol in the hilt.
Yep. Though, strangely enough, we didn't actually get to see it at work.
Well, there's a reason for that, and there's a reason that only Buck knows, because he actually got to talk to the assassin after he got captured, but that's further ahead. So everyone starts doing battle. The engineer actually manages to do fairly well, and I let Buck get away with a lot, actually, looking back on the campaign.
Oh, really?
Because Legend, what are the rules in regards to fighting with a weapon in your left hand?
Well, unless you have weapon training, if it's your offhand, it's going to be at a penalty.
Guess who didn't have offhand weapon training?
You might want to remind him of that, because I did pay the points for that, damn it.
Yes, I know. And he had a sword in his right hand and a pistol in his left. And I forgot to deduct him 4 points for the fact that he was left-handed shooting.
Ooh.
So he got away.
He got away with that one. I wasn't drunk, unlike several of the times Buck was playing. but yeah, I'm gonna have to pay attention to that. So he duels with the main guy. You guys duel with the other ones there. There's a sniper on the roof, and I want to take and highlight a particular point at which one of the dudes goes up and tries to punch Zero's character, and he isn't able to do so. And so Zero retaliates with a water jet.
I retaliate with the water jet. I somehow fail it, which I was frustrated, but it didn't fail in the way I was expecting.
You did hit him.
You
hit him with a bunch of water, and the water was enough to trigger
his hidden gauntlet knife, which it triggered the spring mechanism and stabbed himself in the leg.
For about 7 out of 10 HP in impaling
he
damage.
stabbed himself in the wrist.
He stabbed himself in the wrist.
He had again. I say Assassin's Creed style because he had the Ezio Auditore spring lock dagger, which pops out below the palm, if you recall.
Yeah, but unfortunately, it failed in such a catastrophic manner that he almost took himself out of the fight.
I think he collapsed, and then when I rolled on his turn to get up, he passed out.
Well, no. That guy, I was the one who knocked out.
Oh, you knocked him out later because afterwards you did enough damage. And then this happens. So he gets panicked. He asks the sniper friend to go ahead and fire on Legend's character.
Who, by the way, chose not to have a holy nuke as a different paladin in the past had, but went for the shield option. And this was amazing.
Because
So, Legend's character has the ability to create a magical armor around himself, which is the equivalent to medium chainmail. And he managed to take a musket bullet,
to the chest.
and nothing happened to him.
The bullet stops in midair and then falls to the ground. To which everyone on the opposing side
Collectively freaks out.
yes. To the point that they actually have to make fright rolls that
And I think a couple of them barf.
One barfed, yeah.
Yep. And yeah, I took advantage of that and I went for a neck shot. Normally that would be a lethal blow, and it's an old favorite from when I played all of them. But due to the fact that they were stunned and could not move, I was able to go for that neck shot, and with the fatigue sword, as GM ruled, I was able to knock them out in one shot. So yeah. Several knockouts, one knockout in, and the human NPCs are now severely at a disadvantage. To which our opponent's leader goes ahead and says, "Okay, we're outgunned. We surrender."
Well, they surrender on the condition that you only take him and the injured guy.
Well,
and you
the
let
injured
rest
guy
of them
I
go.
actually had to negotiate for.
Yeah.
But either way, it comes down that way, and you take them into custody. Upon which the engineer recommends taking them to the nearest church for healing.
Which was not a bad idea.
Mm-hmm. And we patch them up.
And you get patched them up after watching Tails' character get whacked in the head by a little girl wielding a quarterstaff, and then running away after she realized it wasn't that effective. Oh God! It was kind of like the box ghost, in which she goes ahead, runs out, whacks him in the head, and then goes, "Beware!" and then runs away.
Oh, it was funny to. We had no idea what the hell was going on. We're just like, oh shoot, we're being ambushed in a church, and then the little orphan runs off.
Yes.
Oh, bless that little urchin. She tried so hard.
It
Yes.
failed. Failed miserably.
Well, not miserably. She didn't fail. She just didn't hit you. If she had failed, she would have fallen out of the ceiling, attempted to whack you, and then face planted into the ground.
By the way, she was 11, guys, so, don't judge her too hard. It's
I
not like
don't.
she almost attacked several adventurers without them knowing.
Huh.
Consider that for a moment.
So...
You got off lucky.
Anyway, so after that's taken care of, you're taken back to the castle. The player characters are introduced formally to the Baron, and they get a better sense of what's going to be happening tonight. Everyone's invited to stay for the very important person's dinner.
And I get my ass chewed off.
You get your ass chewed off because you didn't check, because you were supposed to check in with your church, which you didn't do, and the cranky old nun goes ahead and starts chewing you out.
To be fair, she's senile.
Yes, to the point at which everyone pretty much agreed to it.
Not to mention that she was part of a culture that technically my character is intolerant to.
And don't worry, she's intolerant right back at you.
Yeah, to be fair, she started it, so there's that.
That sounds like a 3-year-old. He started it.
But, so that happens. Buck's character goes ahead and makes more arrangements and has interludes with other characters. Tails' character goes ahead and gets himself laid.
With the dude.
With the Baron's wife, the Baron's daughter, and then the Baron's son.
That's an achievement.
Shag the entire royal family.
Except for Lou.
Oh my.
Anyway, everyone proceeds down to dinner, except everyone's having a good time. The bard is doing his thing. Everyone's having a fair time, except for the fact that the Baron's son hasn't shown up. So he sends a servant up to go get the son.
And surprise, surprise, we've got a murder case on our hands.
The son's been butchered.
Butchered and gored open.
Yes. So the party immediately gets tasked to find out who could have done this.
Who done it?
Who done it, and...
So everyone got to interview various characters.
And amusingly enough, I was the one who had to interview the batty old lady.
Yeah, because I certainly wasn't unless she was going to end up with my shield in her face.
Indeed,
Shield bashing a nun. Shield bashing a nun. You would have shield bashed a nun.
Yeah, so?
So, I think there's something wrong with that.
To be honest, I'm actually picturing her as an older version of that nun from the Tales of the Shield Hero.
No.
Anyway,
The nun was nicer in Shield Hero.
So
And she's a grade A bitch.
So aside from that, there were two other interesting characters that were interviewed. One was supposed to be an alleged bounty hunter who specialized in hunting were-creatures. And the other was a well-dressed nobleman from one of the from a nearby druid tribe.
Because technically, Lou's bloodline...
We'll get back to that later.
Yeah.
So, everyone gets interviewed, and after corroborating all the evidence, it's determined that the bounty hunter is apparently missing.
Yeah, and I was the one supposed to look for him.
And when you found him, he had claimed he was going to the restroom.
But I found that the door had been locked from the inside, and he was not in there.
So you have to investigate the castle quickly, and you find that he was... you eventually come to find that he was talking to his superiors.
And in which another battle starts.
Yep. I actually do want to note that I did have the idea to search the currently being reinforced areas of the castle, because as Leo had not mentioned, the castle was going under renovations. Because it was previously owned by, what was it again?
Malokio. Actually, it was Adiri's. It was Gabrielle's castle, but because she took over the new castle, he wanted to go ahead and take the old one, so that way she wouldn't have to worry about it.
Okay. And it was like a torture chamber down there.
Yeah, it was a torture chamber down in the area that they thought he had fled to.
Joy.
And lo and behold, he actually was down there.
Yes.
And
Good guess.
It was a good guess, and it involved a lot of combat again. Well, actually not a lot. There was a very short combat scene, if I recall right.
Yep, including one small 11-year-old girl, if I'm not mistaken.
Not the same one as before, no.
Yeah, different one.
And I believe you almost had me trigger my guilt complex because I ordered the enemy to surrender, and you had this little girl piss herself.
Because you were being a meanie to her brother.
Oh, I was being a meanie to her brother? I was telling him to surrender because I didn't want him to get hurt.
Uh-huh.
And he was being a dumbass and ended up getting his ass kicked.
I actually was the one who patched him up. Who was it that stabbed him?
Not me, if I recall right.
I think it was Buck's character.
Yeah, Buck wounded him, and I patched him up.
That's weird.
And I'm still the meanie after all this?
Yes, you are.
I better not be.
Because justice sometimes isn't fair.
What?
Justice sometimes isn't fair.
Anyway, so you go ahead and arrest him. You find out that apparently someone got away, and you get a tip to go to see one of the nearby towns.
So, Buck's character goes ahead and gets a bloodhound, and we try to hunt him down with minimal results.
But you confirm that the general direction isn't that way. Or you confirm the general direction, and there is a city or a town in that direction about 2 hours horseback ride away.
Huh.
So after calling it a night, you all get up in the morning and you all ride out to that town.
Yep, and we proceed to do a little bit more investigating here, there, and run into Pothead.
He's a druid, to be fair.
Like I said, a pothead.
Not all druids are potheads.
Not to Justin, he is.
But all potheads are druids.
Oh, Lord.
Nevertheless, you talk to the druid and you find the identity of who is doing it, and you get some dire results or dire information that apparently there's an artifact which has the potential to summon a demon has been stolen.
Yep. And I remember there was a very, very terse response from both Buck's character and my own. Apparently, this is a magic horn that can summon the demon. And well, no, you didn't call it a demon. You called it a god, pagan god.
The god
Yes.
Hircine,
Yes.
which if you played Skyrim before, you should recognize.
Yes.
Well, you could run through the entire game and never run into Hircine. But yeah, we're both Buck and myself both go, I don't believe it. Buck because he's mundane, and I because I'm Catholic.
Which both of you get proven wrong in the future.
Oh, if it isn't the Catholic Church.
Anyway, so you go ahead and agree to confront the perpetrator, who turns out to be a 10-year-old vampire.
10-year-old vampire my ass.
And that's vampire with a Y, not with an I.
And this was actually a very important distinction.
Because there's different types of vampires. These technically aren't like... These can actually go out into the sun.
Yeah, these are essentially, think of them as feral humans in a sense. The vampires with a Y, not the I.
Yeah, so they're kind of weird.
So the vampire with the Y goes ahead and says, I'm going to summon all these wolves, and if you can't stop me in 5 turns, I'm blowing this horn.
And we were proceeding to kick everyone's ass.
To which he goes, fuck it, I'm blowing the horn anyway.
And
Right,
summoning.
because he's a spoiled brat.
Yep.
And so he blows the horn, he summons the spirit, and the spirit goes, "Well met, hunter."
I could tell you were having a load of fun with this, and I think I mentioned this before, but it felt for a lot of the parts felt like we were playing through Leo Force fan fiction. There
Well,
were
to be
moments.
fair, I'm the Baron, I have a hot wife, I have a castle, I'm running the nation, everything's fucking great aside from the one rebellion city. But, what do you
Leo
expect?
Force fan fiction.
What do you expect when you're playing in the realm in which my character is basically the governor?
Leo Force
fan
fiction.
Okay, so in response, if it was Leo Force fan fiction, there would be a lot more scantily clad women.
You had a few of those, if I recall.
No, I didn't. The closest thing to a scantily clad woman I had that I created was a maid, and that character was hitting on Buck. For purposes that are very much story relevant, so shut up.
You know I'm messing with you, man.
The fact that you don't know what those story elements are not my fault. You guys made a bad impression with certain characters, so that's why he's not telling you jack shit.
Well, I can't help what people think of me. Though, I will say that certain actions that did happen were and will continue to come back to bite me.
Yes.
One in particular being, before we took off to the druid's quarters, I actually had a chat with the bounty hunter before we left.
And
the bounty hunter or the assassin?
Bounty hunter and the assassin, actually. I did a prisoner sweep, checked on everything to make sure everything's all right. And the bounty hunter was in the middle of a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
And I went ahead and used one of my miracles to try and calm him down. I succeeded. Temporarily. But we'll get back to that.
Right. But anyway, so he summons the demon, who summons more wolves. Bigger wolves.
The size of small ponies.
The size of small ponies.
You could not help that.
Come on, I gotta. So, you guys go ahead and you're in the battle, and it looks a lot more difficult now, especially that Buck's character is taking it in the back.
Yeah.
Yep, he gets nommed by the wolves in the back, and I'm doing my best to try and keep the wolves off. Every time the wolves try to attack, I parry, and that basically whacks the wolf in the face.
I try to do a few spells here and there.
You have a freaking titanic fatigue pool, man.
So
yeah, I do actually.
So while the party gets overwhelmed, the two of the assassins show up again, and they help you out by taking out one of the big wolves.
And then, if I recall right, I took down one of the big wolves. I forget. I remember I chopped off its paw.
Yeah, you chopped off a paw of a wolf.
And then I killed it.
One of the more stupid moments in that entire battle was that the druid I had made had the ability to shapeshift.
And he shapeshifts
into a lion.
Which is pretty badass.
And so he was doing most of the fighting as a lion. And he was fighting the child vampire. And so, at one point, I roll for both characters. Vampire makes a successful attack. He doesn't make a successful attack. He crit fails his attack roll,
which is a bite attack.
He's doing a bite attack, and the roll on the critical fail table says break weapon.
So he bit. We had a vampire with a Y try to bite a lion and broke his teeth. To which everyone, including the GM, raised their palms to their foreheads.
In a simultaneous,
God damn it.
It was goddamn ridiculous.
Meanwhile, the pagan god is there.
Would you take a good between you and Zero, you take a good chunk out of him, and Zero, I think, is the one who deals the final blow?
Yeah, I'm the one who lands the final blow on his foot, which, by the way, He does. The way you described him, I keep thinking of the cleric beast from Bloodborne.
Yeah, you could interpret it that way, but I was using a different form of Hircine for this. In some of the earlier games, he actually has like think of it sort of like a deer man form.
Okay, but still,
And
that just keeps making me think of the cleric beast,
Right.
like a horned cleric beast.
So all the while this fight is going on, one of the guests from the castle, the Druid Knight character, is just watching the fight break down. And eventually, the party manages to subdue the vampire and kill off the pagan being, so that it vanishes into the mists.
All right.
And so, your guys are about to go ahead, and I think you wanted to initially take him into custody?
The vampire, yes. I was going to take him into custody so that Baron Liu could have proper justice for his fallen son.
Nope. The onlooking dude who also happens to be a vampire with a Y steps in, swings his giant Y-hander, and bisects his own brother.
And that ensues in probably one of the most intense stare downs since Garm was in play. Good God.
And
Yeah.
you weren't pretty happy about that because, as I made it clear, this guy would be much more difficult, and you have all pretty much had a decent fight on your hands.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that everyone was really worn out. I knew that if we had continued the fight, we would have died. Sure, we could have worn him down, but there would have been casualties.
AKA, you were trying to resist from playing lawful stupid.
I'm not stupid. I'm not actually lawful either. But justice where justice is due, and this guy just axed off his own brother in front of me before proper justice could be
Dealt.
implemented.
So you had to, and you were basically going back and forth with this character, trying not to, or try. I don't know what it was we were doing. I was trying to convince you to not make the character fight anymore, but at the same time, you still wanted to do justice to him because he had basically killed someone who hadn't been brought to proper justice.
Yes.
It was really intense. And
Yep.
It was, and the crazy train doesn't stop there.
Oh, yeah.
So
After that, I decided, after realizing his powerlessness, the paladin has a freakout.
he goes ahead and has a freak out, and then he goes back to the castle to see how the other prisoner is doing,
And the
only
prisoner...
to find out that the prisoner panicked himself into a heart attack.
And he promised no harm would come to him.
Yeah, and guilt complex. Now, I didn't actually roll for this. I role-played it.
Played it.
So, yeah, emo paladin.
Crawling in my skin.
Oh, God.
That's basically what you were doing. And I think we still sang that on the way home.
Yeah,
Yeah?
because you've never heard that song before.
Which is like the canned emo trope song, I think, at this point. Especially since Naruto was in existence.
Oh, man.
Boy.
I do hope that I'm slightly more interesting than Sasuke was.
Oh, well, that depends on how you decide to play your character. I can only provide you the tools and the situation, and it ultimately depends on the player.
Yeah.
So, all in all, everyone's character pretty much does what they're supposed to.
Yeah, I play my role as paladin, which means I supplement as both tank and healer.
My shield hero is both a shield and mage.
Though, more emphasis on the mage.
Yeah.
The engineer provides a human aspect and acts as a sort of a know-it-all guide throughout the land. And the bard as a bard does, and gets drunk, hits on women, and produces magical constructs to fight.
I forgot to mention, during the second battle, like in the underground part of the castle, I had used my lightning eyes, my lightning stare.
Yeah, and that freaked the living daylights out of everyone there.
I think I disarmed someone. Like they fell on their back because I did end up missing, sadly. But
Right.
It still scared the shit out of them, and I
I'm
disabled.
it would scare the shit out of anyone who saw someone shoot lightning from their eyes.
Yeah, and funnily enough, it was kind of like this. Zero's character would do something, freak the living shit out of whoever we were fighting,
and then
I would go for a next shot, and someone would be on the ground.
That happened twice.
It happened twice.
Right.
You know what? Let's keep that going.
I don't think you could do that unless you learn something like a fear spell or something like that.
Just the fact that lightning shoots out of my eyes is fear factor enough.
Well, not everything is scared of that. Not everything is smart enough to comprehend such terrors.
True.
So, yeah.
So, anyone else have anything to say on this? Akari, Muzi, what do you think of this shenanigan?
I'm flabbergasted.
Nuts, I tell you, nuts.
We honestly did have a lot of fun. And I had a lot of fun.
It was like a 9-hour session.
It was a long one.
Yes, it was. Although
But-
we had breaks.
Oh, yeah. Funnily enough, when the assassins came to our rescue, I was using the toilet. So I walk in, see these two new things going on, and wonder, what the flying fuck is this? What? And no one actually ever explained anything to me until right now.
Literally, right now, no one explained it.
You
Yeah.
didn't ask?
I did ask, but we were all caught up in the moment.
Huh.
Well, color me surprised.
But yeah.
And, oh, God, that session was insane.
I can't say that I hate my character. He's one of the few super serious characters in the entirety of the campaign. And for that, it was kind of weird. I don't usually play paladins. This is the first one I've ever played, and yeah, I have this thing against playing the serious characters, but that's kind of how he plays. So I ended up having just to play the straight man to all of these guys, funny guys.
Well, to be fair, you
Especially
had
the
some
bard.
interesting moments. I think one of them was you tried to use neutralized toxin to sober up the drunk bard.
That succeeded, and then the damn bard went and said, "You shouldn't have done that. Let me buy you a drink." No! I just spent 8 FP out of my 10 to make sure you were not going to die of alcohol poisoning, and the first thing you want to do is get drunk again.
Yeah.
No!
To be fair, Tails at the end of the session said she didn't really like that character, and so that was kind of her point, was that she was trying to off him.
Yeah, she was trying to off him.
Several times. Like, she was bored with the character during the fight with Hirsine.
Although, to be fair, that's because her fighting style isn't really fighting.
It's more
to
like
summon
summon
it's to
someone
summon
to fight.
something that does, and because of the way her warrior rolled, it didn't survive as long as it should have.
Yeah, and like, because of the way Hirsine kind of perceived the summoning, there was no way it could actually land a hit on Hirsine.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird situation, so I think it was just a bad, like, a character moment.
Yeah.
And
So,
I've
I
had
mean-
moments like that too. When I was playing Orion, I found out that I actually liked I did not like working with someone who didn't talk.
Yeah.
Because that is bullshit. On the one hand, I didn't have to worry about expenses and whatnot because I didn't have pockets.
Because you were a poor boy and nobody loved you at the time?
I was just a poor boy, nobody loves me.
He's just a
He's
poor.
just a poor boy from a poor family,
Sparing his life by
His
my
character an orphan
monstrosity.
character, so
Yeah, his character was also an orphan character, although there were
there
very...
was no poor family.
Yeah, poor wolves. His backstory was that he was raised
My
by wolves.
God.
Anyway, but yeah, that's a thing. Is there anything else you guys want to mention in particular? Any famous, anything you guys had in mind?
How about the results of the campaign? I end up being emo. Zero's character ends up being compensated.
Bug's character is gonna get laid.
And so is Tails.
Yes.
My gosh.
But there are plenty of plans to be had in the next adventure, which I hope will be in spring break.
Yeah, should be around mid-March, mid to late March, depending
I
on.
hope, and if not, hopefully around the summer.
Yep.
Alrighty then.
But we will find out about that. Again, Zara, can you go ahead and reiterate what the post dates for Dark Souls 2 are going to be?
Okay, Dark Souls will be uploaded every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, either in the morning or around early afternoon, unless shit happens with YouTube and it ends up being uploaded a little bit later in the day. But it will be uploaded on those days, I promise.
Alright, is there anything else? I gotta say, I think we're pretty much done here.
Maybe a possible Let's Play with Muzi and Akari in Minecraft in the future. We'll see how it goes.
If you stuck around to the end of this video
We'll
so
see
long...
what shenanigans we can get up to.
Yeah,
All
the
right.
entire time we were playing Ravenloft, Muzi and I were playing Minecraft.
Oh,
You cheeky...
of course.
You cheeky bastard!
Yes, but you'd be proud of the house that we've made.
Alright, this is Leo Force.
This is Death Zero.
Lizzie.
Sorry.
This is Mimsy.
And Legend Hunter, who is completely flabbergasted.
I'm waiting for... Hang on,
We already said everyone's names.
This is actually saying his name, Legend Hunter, for the first time in forever, signing out.
Bye, guys.
Ciao.